Oh, it says starting.
Say hello, Internet.
Hello, Internet!
Speaking of vampires and how old people never die, some of them anyway, as much as they claim it's happening, maybe that's the trick. Just keep saying it's going to be like tomorrow, and then tomorrow.
That's what happened with my grandma.
Right.
Every time she was like, today's the day, I can feel it's going to happen. And then she would like spring back and would be like, we sold your house, Grandma. You said you were done.
You said it was cool. You were ready. Matlock's
That's
on
literally
tomorrow.
what happened. Like, my grandma was absolutely convinced that it was like the end, that she was going to go. And so she was like, help me get like,
Get her affairs in order.
Yeah, get all my stuff in order. And like, she had people that were living with her that were like her kind of like full-time care people. They just sold the house to them.
Oh,
you already
wow.
live here. You can just have the mobile home, I guess.
Right.
That's cool.
Yes, ma'am.
But
You can ask Dawn if you want with her salary or anything.
I'm good.
Dawn?
Yeah, I'm good too.
Sam? Okay.
You eat it.
I just didn't want that one last piece sitting there because
Where?
that's what it would do.
Well, don't worry. One of us would have sat there going, well.
That's just
Take
one
water
more.
for the team.
I've got this call from Dana. You're on this side if you want.
So, yeah, vampires. Okay. So, that's a pretty nice earth you got there. Home? I just saw that video, actually, so that's
Like,
like
you
2
just
weeks
saw
ago.
it for the first time?
Like 2 weeks ago, yeah. Yeah, I know. Hey, some parts of the internet you don't come across for years, and it's like, you've never seen this meme? It's like, no, I've never seen that meme. Oh my god. I know. Yeah. Oh, belch. Okay,
Get
so
to the point, you fucker.
I love you too. So the game will start in early 1948.
1948?
No,
1848?
1848. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, like I was like, wow, after World War II?
This is a new West.
The newest of all news.
That's right. It's baby boomers. It's gonna be wild. It's gonna.
Everybody buys a house.
That's
With
right.
$100.
We
That's
can
right.
all destroy the economy together.
That's right.
Kids on Housewives, 8 and all.
Oh, you could do a Stepford game.
Okay,
That'd be
let's
weird.
just
Sorry.
focus on this one right now. though.
Y'all
Sorry.
are the worst. So yes. Early 1848
Oh my god.
is when the
Together.
game's going to start. So based off that,
So skinny sleeves.
hit me up. Yes.
In the Swedes. Yep.
Because she's like, how big are my shoulders, Tony? And I was like, I don't know what you mean. But she was like, fashion, damn it. And I was like, oh yes, no, I know what you mean now.
Anyone need to take your plate?
So if your
I
character,
put mine away already.
if you have a particular arc in mind or setup for a scenario that might need a few decades lead time or what have you, we can work on that and get you set up to, or even if not, if you're like, yeah, I'll be embraced like the month before, then we can work that out and figure out how we get you where we're gonna have our first. Oh, it's there for later. You good? And you covered up so that it wouldn't end up being there for like later.
So in 2 days.
There is 2 slices of vegan pizza left over there. If you are so inclined, pour the garlic sauce over it. It's fine.
There's cheese in the fridge.
And cheese in the fridge. Anyone here watch Big Mouth?
Yes, I've watched
I
all
have
of it.
seen it. I don't
Oh my god,
watch it though.
Or watch the whole
she's
of it.
binging it.
I'm binging it right now, and I'm really fucking enjoying it so far. And I'm like,
It's-
this is ridiculous.
It's pretty great.
Yeah.
Okay. Here you go, Tony.
Jay is weird, but
Jay is weird.
you won't see just how weird for a little while yet.
I got to the sleepover scene.
That's
his brothers.
interesting. Oh yes, that's just the beginning.
Oh, okay. And his pillow is pregnant. But I haven't finished that episode yet.
Yeah.
Alright, good to know.
So wait, okay, 1848. Was there anything else we needed to know? Is that
Oh yeah, you need to know with Jen and with stuff.
Oh, right.
So I think I'm gonna go with 10.
Okay.
You start at 10?
Yes, unless you buy up.
You can buy coins and old. Okay. So 10s is a good.
It's yeah, it's not modern knights, but 12th or 13th is where they start you at.
Yeah.
You're kind of a vampire. Rawr.
the third chance is shit?
Where?
I kind of want to play that game. So
I mean, unless you're
maybe-
deliberately doing it.
Yeah, but yeah. So yeah, all right. So the game's gonna start in St. Louis. Yeah, a little bit. Early 90s. Well, in 50 years. So.
So wait, if I'm understanding this, are we going to like fast forward really quick up from 48?
Maybe.
Okay.
So there's some like set pieces I've been futzing with. There may or may not be time jumps between sessions.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm still sort of figuring out how I want it to arc and see what sort of things I want to put in front of you guys for different stuff. But
Okay,
I've
then
got
I called
skeletons, so
I called dibs on eating the people that make me think power. I eat those people.
yeah. So I've got a skeleton sort of laying there. I haven't animated it quite yet, and then of course I'm gonna flesh it out a bit more as we go. But that's the starting point. That's where the Oregon Trail starts off. So yeah. We'll see who
Cool.
dies of dysentery.
Vampire dysentery.
Vampire dysentery. Oh yeah.
They all think it's just.
We'll see who's the first person to eat a werewolf.
But there's got to be one per game.
Yeah.
I feel like the Wild West should have more.
Werewolves, skinwalkers,
Mhm.
wendigos.
Yeah. You know, give the DM ideas by all means.
That's a good time
48. Isn't everybody going west at this point in time?
Yeah.
Pretty
Maybe.
much. U.S.,
Jump on the. Is
Canada.
that wait? Is the railroad built yet, or is
Nope.
it being built?
It's being built.
Get more people to eat. And
It's the-
down.
Western extends.
Depending on, is it early 1848?
Yup, beginning of
So-
48.
So they haven't struck gold in California yet.
Not yet.
The Confederacy hasn't happened in Canada yet.
It's still Britain.
Mhm.
Well, it
Lower
was for
Canada
a while, wasn't it?
And it's Lower Canada and Upper Canada at this point, which is basically Quebec and Ontario.
Yeah, 3 guesses as to which one's lower.
They haven't started to expand west and
Is
then
it
fight
like
the
Egypt
natives.
where it's the wrong way?
Sort of.
Someday.
I got the perfect end in that century though. Hudson Bay Company, baby.
Oh. All right. Cool. So enough about bloodsuckers and on to just regular old suckers. I think we were at what's her name's house?
Yeah.
Correct.
So,
So yeah, we're getting our oh yeah, we're gonna ask whether or not we should do a jailbreak.
That's right.
no, you are gonna ask that. I don't want to do it.
It's the royal we, man.
Yep. You don't know, he speaks a different language.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't know what happens to royalty over there.
Maybe that's because that's how these Norsemen refer to themselves. You don't know.
I've lost my human shield.
You lost your what?
My human shield.
I was thinking maybe we can turn that one up and then this one off.
It might be better.
That's okay, as long as you're sitting in the no direct eye line,
No,
eye contact.
Well, also because it's shadow mood lighting, Megan and Tony.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I can probably read enough to write things.
Oh no, I'm gonna balance it.
What if
Don't
you
worry.
just point one of those at me instead of?
Oh,
over there?
Is that worse? Or is that
might be worse.
the same? Is that better?
that's worse.
Okay. Alright. Balance here.
Sorry, internet. You get a mood play today.
After we just played about vampire.
Oh, one of these is out, so that's cool.
It's enough.
Yeah, so now the video feeds on.
Yeah.
It's always
Deal with it, internet.
sort of wavy line like that.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
our-
no,
That's
that's,
our
the
trademark.
wave's always like that.
It's always like that.
That's our trademark. This one.
You have 3D glasses, you can see the hidden picture.
Right?
Right? Hey, they are red and blue. Sort of. All right. So previously on Liberty, Lies, and Libations, this crew went to investigate the matter of a former employee now jailed. Spoke with a few folks at the jailhouse, managed to grab some information from the prisoner. The key point being that he was held for.
Help yourself, there's 3 in there, so go for it.
He was being held for contraband of controlled merchandise, which was in this case code words for fate witches, straight out of production.
Oh, I saw that first mixtape, it was fire.
Right? That's a good one. Write that down. So from that, a couple nuggets of information were gleaned. The first one connecting this whole business between Madame Salvador's business to Sophia's daughters. The second one being that a spy was aiding the capture of people participating in this smuggling. So Gustavo revealed that while he did those expeditions multiple times, the one time he was busted, the lady that he brought over was not actually the lady he was supposed to bring over. It was a switcheroo. This lady may or may not be a real fate witch, but she's working with the enemy and got him busted.
I missed that part.
I think he might have been
Elsewhere.
when that happened. So somebody is trying to break that trade. There's also a couple things gleaned from the jail. 2 people in there were members of the Carrion Crow company, which you guys have on your docket to try to be in contact with. And then what seems to be a high-profile political prisoner is also being held / tortured in that jail, which struck a few people as a little weird. These are usually sent to the capital, where they got the deluxe political prisoner jail that the Inquisition operates. But what do you know? People briefly contemplated a prison break, and then the party went to Madame Salvador's abode to figure out the next step. And I believe that's where we cut last time.
Yep.
And it brings us up to speed. Well, you're waiting in the sort of side office.
The radio.
Yep. In Madame Salvador's. She has not joined you yet. Neither has Maria, but a couple house servants have laid out refreshments for you guys and periodically check in to make sure you are comfortable.
So since I didn't remember the part about the one woman maybe being swapped out, I think we should definitely pay that person a visit.
Where are they now? Or is that something we asked Salvador?
I think we have to ask her, but we don't know where she is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure she was like rescued or whatever.
Does that mean if she's a fate witch, you're gonna do like a fate witch battle?
Can you? Well,
Fate
I wouldn't
witching,
know.
Fate witching.
But yeah, I'd be like, can you see the strands to that? But I wouldn't have a concept of that. So,
Yeah,
although you might be able to see the connection to Salvador.
but I would be able to see my past.
Well, anyway.
Yes. Also,
There is really no way to hide it.
while there was a couple parallels that were drawn, nobody has confronted you personally yet
Yeah, I know.
about potentially
Yeah.
being a fake witch. Because everybody's a secret wizard. That's a trope in this game.
It's just safe now that people know.
Yeah.
No,
She's an out of the closet druid.
you turn into a bird already.
And a little bit of a bird? No, little bear? No.
No, I
No,
got
just a
Just
bird.
the bird.
just the one time.
So we just think you're a
I'm
bird
just a
person.
brawler.
Oh yeah.
He just looks like a little bear. He's stuffy lady.
Also,
Feels like a fuzzy ball.
also, maybe we can extort someone to release our friends.
We also have to figure out who the mole is in his organization.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Because people
hopefully,
be leaking shit.
it's not one of us, or and definitely not one of the people we're not talking in front of when people bring in refreshments.
Everybody's just like pauses talking the moment
I just
somebody enters
realized
the room.
we were looking up for a mole in the Blackstrade game. What's with this thing with moles?
So,
Double agents are fun.
Yeah.
so every time everyone stops talking, whenever someone comes in the room, Jenny looks up like, why are we not talking? Just,
I'm not sure everybody decided to stop talking right at the same time. It happens sometimes.
oh, I'll help it go.
Jenny is the one person carrying conversations when the waiter goes at the table, no matter how personal the nature. I knew a dude.
Serving food is a personal thing. You need to know these things about us.
I knew a dude who was doing it on purpose.
Oh, of course.
Waiter would come on board and was like, "No, in the butt. I tell you, in the butt." Nice. Like every time. I apologize.
Sorry.
Yeah. See if maybe we can run some extortion and be like, hey, so we know you've got this high-profile dude in there, and that's really weird. And maybe someone should tell someone.
I tried to write getting, and I wrote things instead.
Freudian, you're still hungry?
I mean, some of the letters are.
Eat.
I'm so
Eat more.
scared. My mom sent me home with a big old thing of soup, so I've got.
Nice.
Yeah, it'd be like, hey, so we would gladly inform the church of your great find you got down there.
Yes,
And,
again, that's not me.
yeah, but if you didn't want us to do that, then we have a couple friends we wouldn't mind seeing. On the other side of those bars, that would be upstanding citizens and not disrupt the status quo any longer. Sort of thing. I don't know. Just a couple ideas to float.
So, after you've discussed for a little while, a couple of house servants come in through one of the side entrances and hold the doors open, and in walks Madame Salvador herself, accompanied by Luna Maria carrying a few rolls of parchment. They stay closer to the side of the room while Salvador actually comes in to greet you properly. Very warmly, actually.
Oh, I'm gonna do your favorite thing and actually look at them like with the yeah.
Oh, you're
Right,
eyeballing.
you haven't read either. of
No,
them
I
yet.
haven't.
All right.
Because we're trying to find a mole, so I should have had it on the whole time, but then I have to make you do all servants too. Choose all of the arcana, please.
So is Marlena just walking around going,
No, you can't really tell I'm doing anything except
Oh.
possibly staring.
You're
at
just
the
giving
one
someone like
intently.
a raised eyebrow, like. Ooh.
You're creeping out, Helena, I can tell you that
I'm already
herself
looked at you.
much. Like, she's just like holding her, whatever the equivalent of a rosary in this world is doing.
stressing. That's right.
I mean, there's food. They brought in.
Oh yeah, no,
bowls.
she's been eating all of it.
Yeah.
She's been like taking the trays from them as they come around.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff passing by.
So quickly, we need to free Gustavo, find the people from the carrion crow, find Madame S's mole, and find Ethan.
Yes.
You need another whiteboard.
The best I could come up with was you eat 2 eggs in the morning, you eat 2 eggs at night.
All right. Salvador's virtue, if you're writing this down, is the witch. Intuitive.
I eat 2 pizzas before I eat 2 pizzas, and then I eat 2 more.
Her hubris is the magician. Ambitious.
I hate 2 meals now. I hate 2 meals now.
And I don't feel alright. No, you do it all the
Okay.
time.
No, yeah.
Luna Mario's, oddly enough, seems a little bit harder to read, but once it kind of comes into focus,
Anyway, go ahead.
she reads as virtue, the moonless night, subtle. Her hubris is the war, loyal.
No. Good time. So how about strength of the connection between them?
There's a very strong strand between the two of them.
Are there any
And
other
it's-
strong ones leading elsewhere?
It feels like
Oh, she's
it's.
a daughter.
It feels like it's
That's not
years
happening.
old.
Okay.
Like the strand has, like when you actually feel it, it's not just like a cord, it's sort of twined,
Like I said.
like it's rolled.
Oh, okay.
You're looking for other strands.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I won't be able to let it go, but
Eerily enough, Luna Maria has like one very thin strand that leads you don't know where. Nobody in close vicinity. And outside of that super, like almost, piano wire, there's nothing. Salvadora is basically the opposite. For a moment, if you look at her like with strands, you see basically like golden cords all around her of various sizes that lead into,
so she basically is in a web.
yeah, she's leading in all sorts of directions. You also see some thin ones that sort of go towards you guys.
That's fun. I mean, staring complete.
That tracks.
You're just building. I feel like you need like a book
No, I'm actually gonna have to go through my notes and put them somewhere else.
where you're basically documenting all of that for everybody.
While she does that, we're basically filling her in on what we saw.
Yeah.
And what we heard.
Salvadora just invites you to sit. She comes to greet all of you individually. Right. Shake of the hand.
Forever.
Yep. She.
I'm not clean enough.
Oh, she doesn't care. She grabs both of your hands.
I'll break the
She offers to get seated. One of the servants actually brings piping hot tea. And then she just sits in a big cushy chair and listens to your expose.
Oh, by the way, the servers that have been coming in and out, are they all the same? Are they different?
There's about like 3 or 4.
And they're people we've seen before?
You seem to be the ones like taking care of this area of the house specifically. Those how rich people. Right? But yeah, they seem to be focusing on this room. You've seen them on your previous trips to this particular area.
I mean, I feel
right?
like in general, I'm gonna be looking. I mean, not necessarily looking, but like
Right.
seeing if anybody behaves oddly while we're here.
Sure. I mean, even without a roll, you can basically surmise that. I mean, there's probably sensitive information in this room. Like, there's all sorts of like trade maps, and that seems to be sort of the back room, right? So the people that work here are probably, there's probably less of them, and they're probably a bit more in the trusted circle, just because of the sensitivity of what's contained here and the discussions that happen here.
Yeah.
Once you're all laid out, the two servants that had opened the door actually shut them, and the servants are basically out of the room while you're recounting whatever you're recounting. They're basically just talking about what happened with Gustavo. Salvador does not interrupt at any point. She's just there, like sipping tea, very quietly, nodding her head here and there.
But yeah, I outlined that and the crows and how if we can manage to secure them, that might be an in with them, and that they've got that high profile prisoner and how that's really weird, and how, to be entirely honest, a couple of us wanted to just start barreling out of there with your friend, but thankfully cooler heads prevailed. That's still an option if there's a
Yeah, he says a couple, but it was mostly him.
couple.
I was on the fence.
Yeah.
My cousin works there. I don't want to mess up his job.
That's 1.5
That's not
bones.
Russian. No.
And then, and also, I lay out my own plans in case they hadn't already ticked through her brain. To Julia. Yeah.
Yeah, she listens pretty intently. She's sort of letting you unpack all of that without necessarily like jumping in, and then
Oh, and the mole,
oh yeah,
which is part of Gustavo's tale anyway, so that tracks because of what happened with the package.
yeah, she looks visibly more concerned at that, and basically says, "Well, yes, this has been an issue of concern now with Gustavo's testimony that only adds weight to that theory, which is all the more concerning." She actually shoots a glance back to Luna Maria, who just nods a little shortly.
Yes, Gustavo told us about the situation where he got framed, and there was a fleet which he was trying to smuggle, but it turned out that it was someone else, and not the person he was thinking it was, and that person framed him for.
And we wouldn't mind having a conversation with her if you
Do
want
know
us to.
where this person is?
Oh, I would be glad for it. We are still tracking her, but I would be happy to share whatever information you have. I guess it's no use.
You have problem finding girl?
Oh no, they know where she is. It's just whether or not we want to talk to her.
She went underground.
Oh.
She was not who she claimed to be.
I
So
can find her.
that would be quite useful. So,
I'm a tracker.
since Gustavo saw it fit to trust you with that confidence, there is no use mincing words with this. You've heard of our collaboration with Sophia's Daughters. I am and have been a long-standing member of the Castilian Charters for the past, I don't know, decades, just before I was married. And this seemed like a great way to contribute once I was in possession of my husband's company and had the means. Now, on this one delivery, I am still very upset because we did not do our full due diligence, which lesson learned, but we onboarded a lady that claimed to be who we were supposed to grab, but there had been a switch on the Vodache side. Somehow this lady had heard of our plan and passed herself as our cargo.
Who was it supposed to be?
Hmm.
That is good information. I'll have Luna Maria bring you the papers so you can look into them. But yes, this lady then spent the entire voyage planting evidence all over the ship, and her partners basically called a search the moment the boat came to port. Of course, this was not the first time, but we were not prepared for the additional evidence that had been planted, and of course, the lady was nowhere to be found.
Gustavo just needed a couple of foreigners to sing a bunch. It's a shame you didn't have that.
Well, yes.
I shake my head and blush a bit.
This has been a blessing in disguise, if you want to call it that, for Gustavo, because with that much evidence, normally he would have been executed, but because they could not find the cargo, they are now holding him, hoping that they can secure a location.
He doesn't look very good though. I'm sure he hasn't broken, but there's only so much a person can take without proper care.
I worry about that.
He was willing to leave early in a body bag without before breaking, but we wanted to see what the boss wanted to do first.
She looks a little dejected. I would hope it would not come to that.
Agreed.
We are prepared. The cause does come first, but it would be very unfortunate. Gustavo is a good man, and the work he does not deserve that punishment.
So now that you know everything, should we
It's adjacent.
do this plan?
Well, it could potentially put you in the good graces of the carrion crow, which is getting harder and harder these days, and get Gustavo out of there. I am wondering, from the information you give, I had no clue about Monsieur Duplantier being held into that prison,
Big
which
nod.
I agree could be something that we could use to our advantage.
Completely under her breath, which is not under her breath. She's in
There is something to it.
If you're anywhere close,
There were inquisitors there when we were there.
Very
Yeah.
interesting.
Not busy. Oh no, yeah, they were there.
Oh, well,
Queens
we
Day.
knew they were present
Yeah.
because it was noisy.
It
Oh,
tends to be. Their business is dirty business. Very unpleasant and unsightly.
Say.
I wish they would leave San Felipe, but as long as this region is on the verge of secession, they will only increase their presence. Seems like every criminal picks this port as their port of entry or exit, which makes some sense. But I'm wondering if this has any sort of connection to the Inquisition search for the missing General Chenier from the war between Montaigne and Castile. Anybody who has scholarship may attempt to roll on that. So let me know.
I have a little bit.
I'm sure why
I'm
not.
like unusual.
Just strength.
I'm in
Um,
very educated people. Oh crap.
That's
Scholarship
that's
and
wits.
wits.
So now
One.
One.
I got 2.
It's
I know a
obviously
little bit.
a commander from
Yes.
the war between Montaigne and Castile.
Correct.
it's obviously some general.
Prominent
That's what I heard.
one. That's how much you would know.
No.
Decorated general, and you know he went missing at the outset of the war.
Scholarship
The
plus
popular
what?
the popular theory is that he died during the last bloody battle of the war, but there's a lot of conspiracies that he merely went missing, that nobody knows where he is, including the Montaigne.
I got 3.
You got 3? Yeah, so, Evine, you roll on that?
I also got 3.
Oh no.
Oh,
Oh,
Huh?
my squawk box finally died?
yeah,
Hold on, I got another one.
we hearing quietness.
I
Tony,
got a 3.
See that you're talking, it's just not making any
we
sound.
see the visual representation of you speaking.
Start doing sign language.
Oh.
Morse code.
Oh, hello?
Hello?
Did you roll?
I did. I got a 3.
3?
Okay.
Perfect.
Also, I'm just being that in character that I'm so stealthy you can't hear me.
That's right.
That's how you
Blend in
always
into the
are.
decor.
Stop it.
It's like, was that Lambo always there? I don't recall. With 2, Jimena, you remember that you know the Castilian side of those conspiracy theories, which is the Montaigne probably hid him away after the war because he is responsible for a lot of the Montaigne's success during the war. He's not a well-liked figure at all
The general
in
is?
Castile.
Yeah.
Some of those military tactics were a little dubious, including, using people like Duplanty to, use poison and, all that sort of shit. So he's not well regarded at all in Castile. Those of you who have 3, you have the Montaigne side of that, which is, by and large, they also don't know where he is. If he's alive, the Montaigne don't know where he ended up after the war. If he's being hidden by them, it's probably, need to know information. The general populace has no clue.
Also, who spelled it just for this one?
Oh, yeah. How's that last name spelled?
The general?
Yeah.
Cheney, Chenier.
I spelled it right.
Because that wasn't as crazy as that one.
And the first E as a
I spelled that
accent aigu.
Yeah. I did it.
How much was that?
Nerd.
It opens up to the right.
Oh, that makes sense with how it's pronounced.
Yeah.
Okay, Chenier.
We're spelling French, internet, meaning we
Dabs for
use,
French.
we use hand language.
Can we just call him a Chenier?
Yes.
Because he's being a dog. Anyway.
Yeah.
Let's see.
But yeah, so he's been missing. The Inquisition is very interested in getting their fingers on this man because he's also a famous wealthy sorcerer.
The general is?
Sick.
So yes, Salvador is bringing up the idea that maybe that's why
That's why they haven't moved him?
Well,
Well, maybe that's why they can't find him because he just ported
there's
somewhere.
those of you who have 3. There's rumors that he fled to southern Castile, potentially to get out of the area. Right? So he may or may not be in this area.
Wait, I forget. Did Castile win or did Montaigne?
No.
Neither really.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's sort of
Stalemated out.
they stalemated out. Both countries got pretty depleted.
Because I'm like, why would he run back? Why would he run to South Castile if he's in Montaigne? But if he was in the middle of the war in enemy territory, then going to ground would make sense if you're high profile. Okay, cool.
These villagers were torturing
Plantain.
yeah. You because they thought that he would give up the location of
I mean, you don't know.
We don't know
That's something that Salvador is
They're hoping that, or
musing about.
the theory is that they're hoping
Oh,
he'd give up the location of Mencher.
But
I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't write any of them down. Sorry, what is it?
Chenier.
Okay.
It's in
All
it's
right.
the trend.
Chinner, got it.
Chinner.
Okay, can't say
dog
my name.
face.
Yep, everybody gets different names.
Yeah,
That's a
Zima.
Tony. That's a Tony staple.
Okay.
And then you
I gave
try-
myself 4 names just to help, but no one's using them.
So,
That's my, well, yeah. So
what would be the reason for why he was put in this jail? Opposed to some other
yeah,
high
that's the weird
security,
theory.
like, it's assumed that whoever is questioning him doesn't want others to know.
Did you fart?
I'm folding clothes.
The clothes
Ah.
farted. Blame
Yeah,
it on
That
clothes.
is that a new euphemism?
Yeah,
I
okay,
didn't
yeah.
know that.
Uh-huh. Folding clothes and flushing toilets.
Count what he put on.
And what you do.
That's right.
Right.
It's not just Megan anymore.
The life tips.
Wait, what was I saying?
Oh no, just because all your characters get random shit that I make up.
Oh,
Oh,
So-
yeah.
So now
Yeah,
it's Rabbit's
yeah.
turn.
Derpy,
Oh,
Derpy eyes and
yay!
cat
So
sleep.
we'll get there.
Oh,
Sorry, it was a mental image
I'm
again.
gonna
That
make
was
you a
great.
t-shirt that says Cat Susan.
Yes.
Everyone's gonna be like, what's that from?
You're like, well, do you have an hour? Because let me tell you about my D&D games.
Let me tell you some shit.
That's right.
Do you
Let
have
me
a
tell you
moment
what
we
I
can
do
talk-
with my Sundays.
Like-
Do you have a moment we
Minutes
can
to talk about our Lord and Savior,
Right.
vampire.
Robin the boob toucher.
Robin Hood, the Lord and Savior. I think technically it's Fergus. For
He
You're
is,
just the
World
guy
War
that
II.
killed.
Yeah.
he's the Golden Lord.
Yeah.
Because Fergus ended World War II.
See, now I actually want us to meet Fergus in our new vampire game.
Wasn't your prologue that they met the
Death
final
together.
night together?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But when?
I don't remember.
Okay.
It
Well,
was later.
tell me later. We're
They
sidetracked.
made ghouls though,
Yeah.
Oh
and
shit. Probably embraced a couple
even
on
though
purpose or not.
you guys never went that route, so fun full disclosure. Part of one particular guy on Maria's crew was actually a sniper that was supposed to be a ghoul several generations down that took
Oops.
after good old Ma and Pa. So he was basically a sharpshooter.
Yeah.
Maybe we didn't kill them all.
We'll see.
You could have missed one or two. Where's Miss Marcus?
Okay, cool.
Anyway,
So
yeah.
so your ladyship, what would you like us to do? Because I'm really jonesing to just tear down a wall and, and start ushering our favorite prisoners out. But I cannot.
If it's possible to do, without causing too much damage to
Oh.
the town. Yeah. That might be.
Does the tower count as the town?
eh, civilian casualties is where.
Oh,
I
yeah. No. Yeah, no. Mm.
I'm not sure they're wrong.
And as long as it can't be connected to our company, I see no harm.
Oh, of course. But I realized I'm sort of the only champion for this idea.
Well, I'm also concerned because if we do manage to get these devils, it could potentially.
I'm sorry.
Wow, that's so loud.
Oh my god.
Oh, the
Grandma?
Yeah. Hey.
I will use this time to take a break.
Uh-huh.
But
But yeah, I had one of Ferguson surgeons many years down the line as part of it. We will never uncover it. We'll see if it's just hiding and sniping most of the time. You know what I mean? Is that light arrangement better?
As long as I'm not like,
It's not directly in your eye.
yeah.
I'm sure. Off tomorrow, yeah. Yes.
Kept getting that, are you sure you don't want to go home? And I'm like, I love to fucking go home and go to sleep, but I use up all my sick time. So, guess what?
Right.
Here I am.
Yeah. I would love to go home, but I have to not get paid for it.
Yeah.
So.
I had a one couple who came in, and I was like, hey guys, I was like, are you okay? I'm okay. Do I look that bad? Like, just... And then they tried to find gentle ways of being like, yeah, you look awful.
Yeah.
Tell him you were at a boy band concert.
Did not tell them I was at a boy band concert. Thank you.
Are there any actual boy bands?
Why don't we? It's a 5-boy band.
There's a band called Why Don't We?
It's the reason why we went.
Oh.
Yeah.
That sounds like something out of an episode of like Futurama.
Mm-hmm.
Made up, like they're making fun of boy bands.
So this is her favorite band.
Oh dear.
And Shawn Mendes, Charlie Puth was there, Neil Cabello, BB Rexa, and Jack and Jack.
I'm old as fuck.
Right?
I only knew the last 3, and by association, why don't we? Because I can't stop going on about it.
Such a dumb name.
What? Which name?
Why don't we?
Oh, yeah, well, I don't know.
I don't know.
Band names in general.
Why don't you?
Are dumb. Look, I like a lot of bands with really weird, with really dumb names too. So
I mean, I do too, but specifically for a boy band, that's a dumb name.
don't know.
I'm sure there's a story behind it, but I don't fucking know.
Yeah. Do you want to know? No.
I mean, this kid's stopped. This is the second year in a row she stopped these kids coming out of an airplane at San Jose Airport.
And we told her how that's wrong, right?
Right, and so we're sitting in the car. We're leaving the concert. We're in the car, and her and her friend are sitting next to me, and they're going on about like, well, they're staying in one of these hotels. Well, I saw a picture of it. It looks like it's this hotel. Maybe we should stop. And I'm like, dude, you know way too much about these people and what's happening. And she goes, well, they put it on social media, and I'm like, yeah, but you gotta be sitting there combing through that shit to find it. Just saying. Well, yeah, we spent a couple hours today doing that. I'm like, yep. You probably know when they're gonna poop before they do. This is odd. So yeah, she's really upset. And I was trying to think back. I was like, was I ever obsessed about a band like this? Like, I'm excited that she's super passionate about a musician and that kind of thing. You know, so this makes me happy. And I'm like, was I ever like that? And I'm like, I was, and I was really super insane about a band, and I had to have all their merchandise, and I wanted to go to all their shows, which I never got to go, and I bought anything that had their face on it was Spice Girls.
I was just gonna say it was a Spice Girls.
Yeah, I had all the dolls. I had the recording studio placed up for the dolls. I had the fucking Polaroid camera that was their Polaroid camera. They would sell packets of like snapshot photos of them. Like there was one of Jerry Halwell sitting on a toilet.
I
Like
see it.
I had albums upon albums of these pictures. I bought the candy that had their faces. You name it, I fucking had it. And I was like, I guess so. But I was also in the 7th grade. She's a freshman.
Yeah.
It's not that far off.
Yeah.
I popped out the chip and I got a
Oh.
little extra.
It feels like it's far off when you're that age, because you're like, I'm an adult now.
Yeah.
But, you know.
My band obsession of weird bands was Spice Girls. And I took every picture doing this. This girl fucking power.
And now you still do because of anime.
Yeah, but it's different. It's a different pose now.
It has a different meaning.
Yeah, it's still this, but it's like this and
Now I do
Yeah.
this more, but no.
Yeah, that's right.
but the arm's a different angle.
So what did I miss? Or did everyone disperse as soon as I ran out?
we
Dispersed.
sort of dispersed.
Okay, cool.
So, Salvadora pauses and sips some tea for a little bit and says,
I know what
well,
you mean.
from what you're saying, there's sort of two avenues. Either find a girl, if she is still in San Felipe, or break those people out, which at this point you have proven yourselves to be efficient.
No, that's in character.
We still don't know where in the prison the carrying crows are. We just know that they are in the prison, or she knows that they
No.
Oh, she had something else.
Yeah, I was in the,
Because
I was
Xenia
gonna- I
would
was
definitely
gonna
talk
say-
over. Yeah.
and I was just like, no, she's speaking. She's the higher up one. And just, do you have anything left behind by this woman?
Very few things, but I can have Maria bring you what we've collected.
And these speakers I heard about you.
How long
Do we
do we
have
have?
time to do both?
What?
Alright.
Do we have time to do both?
Well,
So,
how long do we have to free Gustavo?
as long as he can hold.
A day or
Not
two.
long.
If I have something of the girls that I can
Girls.
smell like fucking grew.
I mean, here, let
You have to
me
do
go
someone.
You going east.
let me paint you a clearer picture. You have until either Gustavo dies or cracks, or until they find out that he really does not know where that girl is, at which point they will execute him.
No. If you can last 2 days, and if you have something that smells of the girl, I can find her.
With all his faith with them. He said he would
Also-
go out in the body bag. Never said he had to be dead in it.
Also,
She actually looks like
Thanks for the man spreading him ahead.
just does this.
That's how it happens.
She's-
Oh yeah.
Be like-
She's got like the bite. Yeah.
Yeah. She just blocked on a
Never said he
love
had to
seat,
be dead in it.
just using the entire love seat, right?
because
Didn't
all
you
of
give him one of those vials that make people explode, maybe?
Yeah, but we don't want him to
Where
explode.
were those? I gave him the vial. Not what Hispanic people sell like.
Can you make a gas or liquid that expands
I'm sure she
gas
can make
wise?
gas.
Guys, if we,
Be more specific. Yeah.
we make a
Marlena.
deflated body double, that we take in with one of our packs because we were allowed to walk in with all of our gear on, which I thought was very weird, but hey, I'll take it. And then, oh, I don't know how we get the other person out.
I could not take things in my hand.
Even
You small.
you
enough. I
notice
can
Luna
carry it.
Maria's gone.
She's just gone. None of us noticed.
Well, I think that she's like, you mean.
Maria Elena, you notice she's gone because the strands just point elsewhere, right? Like the ones you were watching earlier, but you didn't notice it happened.
That's very weird. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotta have a spy master.
Yes. Good.
This one seems fairly loyal.
Evine starts slow clapping and no one knows why.
If we make them believe he's dead, and we take him out, then it is not hurting Yevgeny's job. That was my only problem.
Or maybe we can kill him and then take him out, yeah.
I don't know.
Oh no, I don't. No, yeah, no.
Don't put that on me.
No, not
We're
the.
lucky if he hasn't exploded already.
Yeah, no, Romeo Juliet. No, it's just. Oh no, he died. And then we drag him. Maybe, But how do we get out the crows? Or can we wait on the crows, maybe? Okay, yeah.
We can always be their lawyers.
Just like this idea that we're
This is
that
a
we're-
Very good
Now.
lawyers if we killed
That
killing
works.
people.
I never said we had to kill them also. That's how we get into it ourselves.
I'm gonna add.
Pro bono.
I'm gonna add equivocation to my list of proposed
We are-
skills.
We are public defenders.
Obviously, because
Right.
no one would hire us otherwise. I love it.
Yeah. In fact, nobody does hire you guys. You just get put on registers anyways. After a moment where the door opens and walks Luna Maria with basically like a bundle of cloth, which she hands to Jania.
Is this from the girl?
Not the cloth, but what is within.
Opens it.
It's a hand.
It's her head. No.
I found her.
It's like, no, that's the weird part. She's still on
Her
her
body's still running around.
willy-nilly.
That makes this easier.
No, inside you find a corner of parchment that came from something that obviously had been burned out. And then you also find basically like a stiletto, like a bodice dagger in a nondescript sheath that you can tell immediately just by grabbing it that this was in salt water at some point. Like the dagger probably was thrown overboard
Okay.
at some point.
Probably still got all those good oils in that leather, so.
Yeah. Doesn't actually touch it with her hands. It's kind of using the cloth to sort of like put things over, and then goes, "Do I start now?"
So then you get started. Do you like run off like a hound, or do you have a moment to go, you should go this way?
Not like hound, as hound.
Okay, wait a moment. And I go, she's wanted. Like it just, I was like, right, I just remembered.
Oh, well, yeah. Because that very
Oh,
loud
yeah.
deduction.
Like,
Yelling about it.
We
Never
keep,
posters.
we keep smudging posters. They never get those right.
Yes.
We just wipe off.
She also has a day job, so maybe in one location on a regular basis.
I got New Year's.
Oh my
Those
god.
are cute.
Yeah, I've been
I
jealous of
was
this
so
fucking-
excited I found a maker for them. I
Oh,
know. I got my good.
Well, show rabbit.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
rabbit! I got concha ears.
Oh.
Yes. Maria informs me that Francesco Mondavi is in town.
Big eye roll.
It's not his first time. He is one of the enforcers that the Mondavi family sends to catch lost, but actually property.
Wait, have I actually had Mary Lennon have a makeover? I know that
I
she
don't
got new
think so.
clothes.
You got new clothes, but
Yeah,
and
we
she
stole them for you.
Yeah.
She actually
I pretend I
shoots-
didn't know that.
Well, I kind of paid for them.
No, yeah.
Salvadora
And this is
actually
something
stops at that and looks straight at you, like with a pause. Something in your eyes like seem to tell you, I don't know how much I should say right now.
Why? Oh. You may as well. We started just talking about it. Let's just finish.
If we can't fake mustaches.
I'm still thinking about how to break people out while they're like awkward.
Yes, well, if you're okay with them knowing,
I think they already know. Some of them want to deny that it's true, but
you might have suspected, but Marilena is in the same situation as those other ladies who break out of Bodache. So, Fate Witches being one of the most tightly guarded secrets of the country and firmly in the hands of the merchant princes, they would rather they do not roam free and use their powers against the country or dispel the myths that they love to maintain. So
essentially I had to leave because I was educating. And I was educating others. It meant either my death and the death of my students, or I leave.
speaking of which,
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Speaking of which.
Oh, do I get anything now? Is that what you're saying?
Your name was already Bruja.
Yeah.
so yes, as you've seen on the letter you got when you first got here, your husband is safe, although not for lack of trying from Mondani's agents. They already had to pull him out from your hometown. I'm sorry.
At the very least,
It's in the hands of our agents.
it's not nearly as loud.
So yes, we'll do what we can, but I would expect, as long as Mondani is in town, that pressure to get higher before it gets less.
But I get to do the anime thing where I just cut my hair off because I'm like having a dramatic change of
Do it with a sword like on the one.
Or you can put your head down on a block and I'll chop it off for you.
Nobody will recognize me.
yeah.
Yeah, you know, yeah. You do one on each side.
I haven't even done anything to you yet.
No, this is because we're friends.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The hair, not your head.
the head's extra.
Seriously though, like where would I
Scar,
go to
chicstick scars.
get like myself styled?
Well, there's plenty of places around.
Yeah, I
here.
know, but it has to be someone that.
I could braid it in the way of my people.
I don't look anything like you.
This
though.
is a
It would
full
definitely throw off the look.
this is a full port town. You got like real fancy salons where you can go get your hair did, or there's places
The
where
surgeon slash barber
No,
slash.
what
Yeah.
I mean
yep,
is,
besides dentists.
Uh-huh.
do you have somebody
Slash
here so
tobacconist.
I don't have to go to another place where they might recognize what I looked like before and then have on the
He
record
charges
that I
extra for
changed?
that in this.
Yes.
I don't mind if it's rough, as long as it's done.
Can get it done. Would you like to get it done today?
That's what he said.
Sure.
All right. You can take care of that.
You just need haircut.
I could make color.
Ah,
I
I
mean,
suppose if it makes my hair explode, then that would look very different.
it's 50-50.
Yeah.
Either
Up your
new
head
hair
catches
color
fire.
or no hair at all.
Get her
Either
face
way
in a
is
towel. Let's do this.
Alright.
I'll record it and put it on YouTube.
Yeah. Stay on YouTube.
Down to
Don't you?
Gross. I hate it. Get the fuck out of my house and never talk to my children again.
That's not mine. I will not take credit
Oh,
for that.
thank God.
Although technically speaking,
Oh.
if the you in YouTube is a plural you, then it would say you, because that was only a
Oh,
singular
singular
you.
you? Oh. Yeah, but who cares? Statute is better.
That's how you used to be able to tell. That was the singular and you was the plural, and eventually
It's just
thou
y'all.
fades out, which is why now you need you and y'all.
You know what I was thinking? What if I just dressed more like a man? They wouldn't be looking for a English that's dressed like a man.
It's still Shakespeare.
That.
Put on boy clothes, cut your hair.
Ooh, and then confuse someone. Yes. I love
Yeah,
Yeah.
like my employer.
it.
But
Do it.
I said that
I don't know
technically
if she
Hosea
really.
dresses.
No, she wouldn't be confused. She's a witch too.
You're
Different
pretty
kinds, I'm
sure
sure.
she's never like fully looked
Yeah,
at your face
exactly.
like
That's what I
ever.
said. I don't know if she's actually seen what I'm
I'm
doing.
not sure, in fact, that she can still see. She looks like a turtle in a shawl.
Oh, I found the vampire. The
Yes.
Cappadocian, apparently.
Yes.
That's right. He's actually.
Because when you're that salty, you have like 10 dots in court, and you're just like, I never sleep, and I stay out in the sun.
I mean, she's never out past noon, right? She's actually Fortunato's
Sire?
hidden, never spoken about clan wife.
Oh, there you go, yeah. You don't like anything. I don't like that. I don't like anything either. We should hang out.
She's basically got this huge list of things she hates, and then this one page that has
No,
Fortunato on
it's
it.
it's one needle point of
All
everything
right.
she actually likes.
Yeah, that's
That's
not
it.
It's just Fortunato.
That's
That's it.
Providence District.
So, all this talk of disguises, it's given me an idea.
Oh, does this involve my neck? I would rather keep it.
Now, prison break is a risky business. But what if it was a bad prison break? One that caused them to look to hire more guards, that we may have falsified credentials appear.
We're lawyers and guards.
We work in all facets of the judicial system.
That's right. We're a one-stop shop.
I already have high recommendations.
Can't knock the hustle.
Yeah.
I'm honest and I can kill many things at one moment.
And you got an in because you got your cousin who lives there.
Just
No,
say
I like-
maybe plan B. If we
No.
fail miserably.
Yeah, you can make plan A and plan B. So plan A is we smuggle out Gustavo, which means that they fucked up and lost a prisoner. And then we get hired on as guards when they increase security,
Mm-hmm.
and then get out the crows.
What we have to do is we have to be like, oh no, he's dead. But then when we get him out, we have to make it look like he's like, oh shit, he was alive and he knocked us out. Or something. Because they'll know that we took him out.
I mean, yeah. No, I see what you're getting at. Yeah, we would need to work out that.
I
It's
think
flawless. I
plan
love
A
it.
is find a girl prove he's innocent, get him out.
Well, I mean, even
Plan
if we
B
find
is
the
prison
girl,
break.
he's still guilty.
I don't know how. Yeah, I don't
That's
know
the
how.
problem.
Does finding the girl prove he's innocent?
No.
Yeah, no.
We still need to find her. So.
No, that's okay. Like,
Well,
I do still want to find the girl.
technically, and you asked that of Salvadora, she said, well, we're having conflicting reports that she may or may not be a fake witch. If you can find her and prove that she's not, then yes,
You're right, though.
he's not.
Yeah.
If we get her,
Takes one to know one.
We
I'll
can-
take out my deck and be like,
we
you know
might
what
be able to
this
get her
one
to
is.
confess that she planted all that contraband. Exonerating.
Ah,
That
that's
was the
true.
idea.
Sorry, you're right.
Just a little glow. Still holding her stiletto and her pink parchment, like. Tell me when to
Well,
go.
All right,
Tell me when to
we're
go.
gonna let that dog
You-
hunt, or
You have been in our service for a short period of time where you've proven you can handle tasks efficiently. So I give you leeway to do this.
Don't ruin it.
but
What
we will.
if you need assistance? Let me know.
Oh,
Within
of course, yeah. Yeah.
within
now I just
reason,
need
I
my-
can provide.
Yeah, she just needs a shave right now.
We will take care of that right away.
All right, cool. So we get the servants in here and get her a nice, cute bob, and then
That's a dance.
oh, nice. We're going full. Yes, I love it. And then we're gonna let her get
An
houndy.
eye
Yeah, let's just like make everything different.
And a beard.
patch.
Drawn on with charcoal.
I'll have my
Just like a
boss
big old
needle pointed.
Groucho
Red
Marx
lipstick.
mustache just painted on.
Wow.
It looks real.
That mustache is like
This looks,
10 curls.
this looks like the photo of my cousin we used to draw on. Look just like that.
You did not like it.
He was slow.
Oh,
Luna Maria heads out and then comes back in
Chokes on her food a little.
with
That's
3
Rick Stone for you.
servants, one carrying a chair, another one carrying some sort of basin, and a third one carrying a bunch of toiletry tools. And we set up shop right in there and start working at Marilena's hair.
You know what we
immediately.
need?
Can you even dye my eyes, match my gown?
no, they are brown because you're full of shit.
I'd be like, do not touch these eyes. I need.
A couple of
I stare and judge.
If
Chopping
I
on
can't
apple.
see, I can't.
Have I told you my you're full of shit joke that I tell my niece?
I think so.
I told her that she's full of shit and that's why her eyes are brown.
Yeah, no.
And then she looked at me and said, "But Minga, your eyes are brown too." And I said, "No, honey, I'm full of chocolate."
Sure.
I heard that.
Just said,
Shit or chocolate? The age-old question.
No, it's just shit chocolate. Just
That's true.
either way, don't put it in your mouth.
The kind that comes in those like make your own chocolate kit.
Oh,
It's
yeah, why
totally
is it-
inedible.
Yeah.
I think that my mom used to tell me that chocolate was shit when I was little so she could eat all the chocolate.
Oh my god.
That makes sense. That sounds like something your mom would
It really does.
and like, I don't doubt this.
Yeah.
Not at all.
For what we know of her, it makes perfect
I've
sense.
been meaning to bring home some dessert. Some sort. I think it's off my mind. Chocolate. Small cookie. And I eat those.
That's the problem. They're gone.
Oh god, I
They were
fucked
good,
up
but they
yesterday.
They work definitely.
You
I
you
made,
fell off your wagon?
no, I made cornbread because we were having chili, so when the cornbread
yeah.
chili,
Yeah.
I took it out of the oven, and so we had just
Sorry.
cleaned up the kitchen earlier that day, so we just put everything away. So I didn't think about it, and I put the hot cornbread pan just on the table,
Oh, no.
which had a fucking vinyl tablecloth on it.
Yeah.
And it got completely, they melded together. I had to like cut it out.
Yeah.
Shit.
So I had to order, so I ordered a new one. We'll have a Christmas one.
Still living that life. Yeah.
But like I got most of it peeled off the bottom of my fucking baking glass pan, but now I have to go with the rubbing alcohol to get the rest of it off.
Yeah. You should keep that tablecloth with a good like pan-shaped hole in
It
it.
perfect, like almost perfect square.
You can glue another piece of vinyl underneath it so it's attached.
Or fuse another piece of vinyl on it, because that's how you got it in the first place.
Yeah. But like I was
Full
like,
circle.
I took it out of the oven. And like, oh, the chili still has to cook for a while. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just set it down. Didn't even think about it. Put it down, walked away, and then Daniel came out and he was like,
Bro.
he's like, wait. He was like, oh no, and I was like, what? And then he tried to pick it up, and the whole tablecloth came with it, and I was like, oh no.
No, you put in like a towel or something in there. So now that's always where you put it.
Yep.
All right, cool. So
Your Linden pad.
Marlena's got a cool haircut.
So, so
It's
out
pants.
of character question.
Yep.
I know we got put up in this fancy house, but have we received any sort of payment for anything we've done so far other than being put up in a fancy house?
Well, I know what I'm getting in payment. I don't know what all
Yes.
y'all are getting in
All
payment.
of you are on the payroll, so yes.
No, and I'm also getting supplementary.
Yeah.
Supplementary.
But it's also free room and board, so it's like,
Yeah, no, just like I said. So she's still sort of like flipping around the stiletto, and she goes, "May I ask a favor?"
Yes.
like I think all of us get crazy quiet and are like,
What?
She's asking for something.
Oh,
Yes. What?
You'll find things that aren't from here.
yeah, her paw's about to drop.
Yes.
I want a tree at the house.
What kind?
Puts everything down.
we get you a plant.
It was a bush.
It was not
Oh.
a tree.
Yeah, no. There's
That was a shrubbery.
And it's like, I very
distinctly, I remember
getting
stealing a bush
getting you this
for
plant.
you.
She digs through her pack and she pulls out a book and she flips through the books and she goes, "It looked like this," and it's a very nice drawing of an oak tree. I want one of these.
Sure.
It's like I just
I
haven't
can't
those
actually
trees
look
lying
at your
around.
child.
I know.
So-
I am not.
yes, I understand. So these.
Yes.
I don't know how she's going to carry that. But
We will.
Okay.
We'll find one for you. It will take a few days.
Do you need the picture?
No. Don't worry.
She closes the book and rifles it back into her pack. Everything seems to fit in there very, very just so. And then
she's going to shoot her brig if the Frenchman starts to break the leaves.
Well, the writing's on the wall, but
Triggered.
somebody's gonna have to plant that damn
That's
tree.
right,
so-
yeah.
it's gonna be her. So
some self-insertion there.
What?
Is that some self-insertion there? Your pack is perfectly Tetris.
yes, perfectly, everything fits just right. She closes up her pack and looks to Rethel and goes, "I won't be able to carry it."
Oh yeah, I got it. Yeah, and like I'm like, okay, I know this is
Right, like
heavier
that.
than it looks, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she
The servant that brought in the chairs to Marilena comes in with an outfit that's basically like steel gray.
It looks just like Lunar Mars.
It looks similar to this. I mean, that's a lady wearing it, but that's more or less
Okay.
what that looks.
With
It
less
has-
fire.
It has, yes.
For now.
It basically has
Wait.
like
Now wait till I get my hair dyed.
breeches
Oh, yeah,
and
no, that's
cuff
happening.
boots and a nice doublet with a cloak. Right?
It's
And
probably even richer than what I'm wearing now then.
they even bring you a hat in case you wanna go fancy and wear the hat too.
For the hair.
But yes,
Go
we
bright
will,
red.
we'll find you that
Make
tree
her a
and we'll have
ginger.
it delivered for you at the house.
I would say I've heard they're witches, but I am a witch, so that doesn't work.
I appreciate this.
Oh, I like your color, but
course.
not this light.
No, they have no soul. That's the joke.
Well, her whole thing
Some
is
light
she's
brown?
No, I'm sexy blonde.
she's
I'm
a
Fabio.
survivalist, a hunter, and a
Chestnut.
stalker, if you will.
He's Uber
Okay.
Norseman.
So
I don't have any. I don't have my things with.
So
We'll
she,
only get home.
so everyone's ready, and she looks up to Jimena and goes, "You sit down."
Oh, Jimena's already sitting.
Yeah, she
She's
manspread.
manspreading on that
She's like,
seat.
she's got an entire couch
Okay.
to herself.
Brace yourself.
Wait, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Hold your heart. Is what they say. And then
I think she
And
thinks
then
you're scared
slowly-
of magic.
He's just like, bitch, you gonna steal my heart?
and then her body begins to crack and shift and hair and
Oh,
and then there is
Oh yeah, that's
Giant-
probably why.
a giant white wolf
Ooh.
with these big apple green eyes, and she goes,
She's like up on her.
I scratch it behind the ear.
Scratch it behind the ear.
And she goes to the things and she snuffles around in them and she licks the stiletto a few times and scratches at it and digs her nose in and then
Jimena's got her nose in it.
sniffs around for a little while and lets out a howl and off she goes.
You see that Lina Maria, as people settle, releases something that she was grabbing from behind her back. So, sort of close.
Bless you. Who did it? Someone sneezed.
I got it. No.
Bless you.
Shut up.
Oh, that was so sincere.
So my sneeze interrupted me hearing the end of that sentence. She releases something she was holding behind her back.
What was that again?
Oh, that evening caught.
Yeah.
You see that as Xenia morphed into a fucking wolf, right into this little boudoir. She seemed to be reaching something behind her back, and then as everybody like sort of settles down,
Yeah, as Rethel claps
seems
and
like
laughs.
everybody is okay with it. Like she seems to like get back at ease and smooths her clothes back up.
Okay.
It is stabbable.
Try it.
Yeah, I don't think it will.
See what I do.
Why can't I ever hang out with normal people?
Follow the wolf girl.
Well, I mean, it's either follow the wolf girl or stay with the fake witch.
Neither seem like
Why
good
aren't you
options.
coming? Let's go.
Because I'm getting my hair cut.
No,
You're done.
You're
Yeah,
done.
we're
Oh,
waiting.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
yeah,
You're
Yeah, you're all set.
You're dressed.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Because you're dressed, like a boy, and then shit got weird.
Yeah.
So,
See, she's this wolf.
there you go.
All right.
Ah, there it is. All right, yeah. So we dash out after Wolf Xenia.
Maybe it's in this one.
Good hunting. You hear Salvador just call in the corridor, y'all bounding off after this wolf.
I let out another horn blast of a laugh, and we go romping through the streets. It sounds.
I should have done this earlier. Parents are so freeing.
Right?
They keep your nethers warm. But the boots are much more practical than
I
the
was gonna
heels.
say I have quite a few more things to be like, yes, they're amazing. But I don't have that sort of vocal power right now. Actually, what I'm trying to figure out is if I do, because I think somewhere I can still talk through the animal, and I'm trying to find that. I think I'm still sentient. And I'm like, where did I find my sorcery?
It is.
Well, I know the sorcery stuff's back now, but
It's like 200 some.
those are all
Should have had it marked.
specialties. Yeah, you should've.
218.
So weird. Are you okay?
Oh,
217 is where it starts.
oh, look, they did have it marked.
Good job, past Lisa.
Yeah.
I'm taking over future Lisa. And what color are you thinking of going?
For my hair?
Yeah.
Oh, I was like a light brown.
Sidebar.
We have to do
Your
that back at
skills,
the house,
knowledge,
'cause
and
that's where all
abilities
our
are
stuff
to
is.
perform all other limited, such as weaponry, tools. Can't hold it in
And
your
I'll have
hands.
the chance to test it out first before I
The
maybe,
animals probably
so I don't accidentally blow your head up.
Yeah, I don't think.
No.
So you're restricted by the physiology of the
Yeah.
animal you embody.
I guess wolves don't have lips.
But you can make really cute sounds that are a wolf approximating.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
those things are
Lots
talkers
of
from
little,
what I've
little
seen.
dog
Yeah.
yips.
You can yip and yap and
Which is kind of how most of us understand you anyway, so it's not too far off the mark.
All right.
I appreciate that everyone had to do their own dog yips.
Yep.
Get everyone tuned up.
Everybody's in tune.
Yeah, I'm like, I can't help but howl. She's howling. It makes me want to howl too.
Right.
You still gonna howl?
You
He started out.
All
So
right.
yeah, so this whole menagerie dashes out of the house
After a white wolf.
after a white wolf. You're hitting the streets. You get out of the most affluent area, and then you start to run into people who, for everybody else, it very much looks like a group chasing a wolf that got loose. It's basically what it looks like.
It's a good thing I changed.
Oh no,
myself
I'm
before
shouting
I did
after
this.
her. I'm like, "Atta girls, get her, get him out of here!"
Oh my goodness.
Like I've taken ownership, and we're chasing something
We don't,
down.
we don't have to like roll stuff to keep up, do we? I mean, they're
No.
chasing a dog.
Unless Jenya is
I mean,
really.
I'm not running. I wouldn't say she was like running right now. I think right now she's doing the like
Just trying to find the
the
scent.
bloodhound thing where she's
Right.
just got her face to the ground and she's
Okay.
trying to find that hidden
Ooh, excuse me.
So sad. I mean, we can fix that. Let's. I mean, if you want.
No, I'm fine.
I've got some Rasputin's Imperial Russian Stout if anybody would like some.
I know someone who wants some.
Yeah,
It's in my true form. It's not chilled.
no, that's right.
You sang the song of his people.
Yeah, like God intended.
It was like-
God intended a lot of things. None of them important.
That's right.
For some reason, it has a lot to do with beer and cheese.
Yep,
Things that are fermented.
I mean, those are the divinities apparently.
I don't know what God you're praying to, but I'm sorry.
Hey,
Lisa.
my table
I
clock.
should have actually offered you the drink.
I knew where they were.
Thank you, man. Yeah, I'm sorry. Sitting in the bed.
Oh, nice. We'll be here tomorrow.
So I don't know. Usually I'm working on a piece at this point, but I think I'm going to go ahead and go for it anyway because I'm pretty sure this is going to happen. As I'm shouting after you as if you're my faithful hound, I'm
Turns back at you at some point and goes,
I am giving words of encouragement by recounting a tale. Whatever the fake equivalent they came up with for Fenrir,
All right, yeah.
and how a faithful beast and blah, 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 and so forth. And I spend a hero point
Oh,
to make a speech about your character in its current state, and you gain 1 rank of reputation.
Yay!
But that's less important.
Where's that?
If you change a character's existing reputation, which I believe I will by giving you 1,
well, see, I don't have.
get one
anyone here?
here in San Felipe.
Oh. Maybe not. That didn't do quite what I wanted it to.
But that was definitely a
Tina.
sound.
Yeah.
Damn.
Almost definitely a Tony sound.
It-
It
it-
was a Tony
It
sound.
was a Tony sound, but it was
It
a
got
Tina
to-
sound.
It got almost to like
From a Tina?
Tibetan
That's
throat singer.
true.
Like a didgeridoo.
We're just like
Yep,
we're just making all sorts of sounds tonight.
that's right. This is a
I
very
think it's because we're so dark. We're just trying to liven it up.
this is a
Sound.
very
Today's
musical,
episode is brought to you by ASMR.
the wrong kind of ASMR where like you put on your headphones all the way up and then all you hear is like
You gain a 1 rank reputation as the advantage of the same name of your choice. Okay.
So it is on
Yeah. Because it's an advantage, so what are the reputations?
Destroy them.
Oh, well, they'd be 1 rank. Oh, that's advantages. I want reputations. Oh, that is an advantage. Okay. I swear I know what I'm doing.
You got yourself in a loop.
Obviously
No.
not, yeah.
Nobody's
What's the
talking.
reputations?
it is
Yeah, build.
140. Wait, no, that's just the stuff.
Yeah, those are the regular advantages, which is.
Reputation is on 150.
Oh, of course, 1 over.
Mm-hmm. So basically come up with a descriptor for your reputation. And then it basically counts as a specialty in
Social.
White Wolf. That's basically what it is. Whenever your reputation could come at play to help you in any sort of role you would want, you get an extra die on that role. So you get to describe.
So I
Although,
add reputation in my list of advantages.
although it still doesn't help us actually, because when you use your reputation to your advantage on a social risk, you gain 1 bonus die. But it wouldn't really help with this tracking situation, because that was ultimately what I was trying to go for.
I mean, it sounds cool that we're just gonna make songs about this White Wolf running through Central Movie. I think that's cool. Even if it has no purpose. Other than being cool.
Whatever happens with this, Veen is strumming along, so your story sounds like a song. As we walk.
It's barding hard right now.
Yeah, double barred. Double barred all the way.
Yeah. It's that Bard and Scald band I keep hearing about.
But yes, I would definitely, yeah. Hard folk, I guess, would be the genre. Yeah, I would definitely be like Zevia the Tenacious
Folkcore.
would be
Does it
your
still count if
would be
you
your
say
rep.
my name right?
Yes.
Zhenya.
It
Zhenya the
does.
Tenacious would be your one rep.
So what it will do, even though like you're currently in a tracking situation and applies to social stuff, is anytime people will try to go against you going forward, and that reputation might come into play. If people try to hide from you or try to,
I can find it.
that's right.
Do I roll anything to find a side track
Yes, you have survival on it.
as an advantage? A survival list.
Okay, you have survivalist, which is good.
Yeah.
But
the skills are aim, athletics, brawl.
it will be a notice for this.
Okay. Notice and
Right now, Rumi resolve with it.
oh good, because I have all the results.
Here.
I could go either way. You may.
And then
Well, the problem is there's a 9, 3 sevens, and a 6.
Yeah, those are
It's
the
like-
best. Yeah.
No, because the 9,
No, I know you're like, how the fuck do I put that? Yeah.
Okay, I want the most.
I guess the most I can do is 2. 7 and 6 is 13,
One
7,
quick
7 is
second. And, yeah.
14, and 9.
I want to see if your advantage will play into that.
Yeah, okay.
Because we have survivalist.
Yes. But it's about, like, feeding myself into the people in the wild.
Forage or hunt. So.
Yeah. I mean, I'm hunting.
Yeah. So that's why it's like, maybe.
Yeah, that's sort of what.
I just give her that third raise and we'll call it even.
Yeah, I would say roll 1 extra die on that because you're. I mean, you're not hunting for food, but you're still hunting.
And then an 8.
Nice. Yeah.
Okay, so 3.
3.
I mean, it would have been 3 regardless of what I rolled for.
Dude, if we were playing White Wolf, that'd be baller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You all the successes.
So the scent is very faint, right? It's also very particular because it's very foreign
Yeah.
to you. So you have a really clear picture of that person's scent.
Yeah.
But the moment you leave, like the more like noble area, like is full of like sweet smells and perfume and like some vegetation. But now it's starting to smell. You get like a lot of sea smell, right? There's also gross smells, right? Because there's a lot of people huddled together in close space, and it becomes progressively harder to catch the scent. But you have to stop a couple of times, sort of at a crossroad, under the bemused glance of a lot of city folks, that carrying stuff or going about their business, and seeing this gigantic, not region appropriate wolf just walking around.
But then they see the not region appropriate dude behind it being like,
That's right.
That's right. Yes.
It's like, oh yeah,
No, that's what those corners do.
it's those crazy raiders. Got it.
They had those.
But when you stop at crossroads and you get yourself to focus, you manage to continue to pinpoint it. And it feels like it takes forever. Like you're just running through side streets and dirty alleys.
Scratching that shit.
Yep. The more you go, like the more like shady part of town you seem to be. Until you actually come to a stop and make a hard right towards an area that is usually used to offload merchandise off boats.
Actually, it's a simple card. Yeah. I've seen the dude. And it doesn't look like it either, which I'm like, that's when you know they know what they're doing. It's not just. Because that's not a muffler. That's his actual muffler. It's great.
It's hard right.
Yeah, and then you come to a sort of an area that's full of like warehouses and like dingy buildings. There's a few taverns there, but they're the real shitty like sailors taverns. Like I'm in town only one night and I'm gonna drink everything I can drink till I have to leave in the morning, sort of a place. Jimena, the place is immediately familiar because the ship you used to serve on used to dock in this area quite a lot. You recognize that as the spot where the guard is a little bit more lenient, aka they're on the payroll of, a couple pirate crews and so this is basically like, this is smuggler's heaven right here. Which is actually a pretty cutthroat area as well. There's usually a murder a night. plus, you know, a lot of people going missing that probably get tossed, like, you know, in the waters or, you know, get stashed on boats to be discovered like weeks later. Yeah, that's right. There's actually quite a few of that. There's slave ships going to and fro the New World, docking into this spot as well. But Jenya, this is it. This is the spot. There is one particular warehouse, and you smell that scent all around the back of it.
And just lets up that awful, amazing howl and start just scratching at where she thinks it is.
Some dude busts out of a door when you do that of a tavern. He's holding a bottle that is like completely smudged, like on the inside somehow, of a gross fucking liquid. And the moment he hears that howl, you see that dude like busting out. He's not wearing any
Of
pants.
course not.
And
This is out of a different building.
yeah.
Okay,
Not
yeah.
the same building.
Uh-huh.
He just busts out, like he looks like fucking crazy, like he's into having like a PTSD episodes. He immediately throws up and then slips in his vomit and just like lies down there like, ah, but he's freaking out.
Doggy laugh.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Well then. Yeah, I stopped paying attention.
I pat you on the shoulders and resist the urge to like,
Rough.
but I'm like, well, are you going to stay that way for the next bit, or?
Looks up and gives the head tilt.
I mean, I don't care either way.
Shrugs. Looks back at Jimena.
I think she's over it now.
You kept up with it, but that was a pretty brisk walk. You worked a decent sweat.
So where she's scratching is just the back of this warehouse?
Yeah.
Is there a door, or is there?
Yes, there is a door. It's not in the corner you're at. It seems you see some traffic coming around like from the front. There might be another door on the other side, but you can't see that side from where you're at.
Well, you already announced our presence, but I doubt they know what it meant. So, but I'm okay to walk in and just say
But
hello.
did we find the door or not?
That's right there.
Yeah.
There's one right there.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay then.
She stays a wolf for a little while.
Okay.
Just enjoys being one.
I walk over to the door, and I look over at you at the trio of still ladies, and I go, do we want to do the subtle approach, or can I just knock? Quotation marks.
I think we're at the point that your type of knocking is fine.
As you're having this conversation, the pantsless dude finally managed to get up to his feet. He doesn't seem to see you because he's, I don't know, he's seeing some shit. He's like, there's werewolves! God damn it, I knew it was werewolves! I'm off! This job is not working. And he just, like, goes in a separate direction. His pants forever abandoned.
I say kind of quietly, knock, knock, and then I kick in the door.
And I'm just at his heels with my teeth bare, growling, and
I'm realizing I can no longer keep my my knitting needles in my hair.
Yep.
nope.
You're gonna have to keep them in the boots of your hat.
That's true.
Yeah.
Brawn and brawl or athletics?
Let's go with brawl. You're fisting that door.
Ew.
I'm booting
It doesn't mean what you
Booting it.
think it does.
I bend that door over.
You say that word.
No, it's men's related. Yep,
Oh
that's right.
my.
Rethel doesn't have a shirt, so
Well, it's the top part, not the
he kicks the door so hard that his pecs just shred his shirt.
Oh no, not again. All right.
What I think would be really funny is if you just had another shirt under it because he's ready for this to happen.
This happens a lot. I go through about 2 a week. My cousin, he does it to pants, and he just has little purple shorts when he's
Oh
done.
my
Right.
God.
Puts his fist on his hips and just lets it fly.
Oh no.
It's a good party trick.
Two solid raises.
That door has been weakened by the sea air for sometimes. And the moment your knuckles, your boot connects with that door, it splits almost cleanly in half, and the planks just like tumble inside,
Right.
like you're in an 80s movie. Inside, you see a lot of merchandise. You see, you see stacks of crates and
Oh, merchandise, not
and
unfortunately,
inanimate stuff.
Unfortunately, yes, you do see merchandise in the sense that there's a bunch of people
Oh,
who seem to be
human fucking trafficking.
sitting down in chains. Their heads have been shaven, and they look very emaciated. And the moment the door splits open, they're basically just trying to cover their eyes as they haven't seen daylight. And
Shania pushes through and starts sniffing bodies.
Ison don't go in for slavery at all, right?
what's that?
We don't.
You're not an Iceland.
Sorry, Vestin. Yeah, Vestin don't go in for slavery at all. Like that's not.
That's not cool.
No.
Um.
I mean,
Yeah.
your ancestors have done it, but you're betrayed.
You're enlightened now.
Yeah.
I am
But-
going to use my keywords.
You see in the back, Rethold, there's a table where a few people seem to have been playing cards at candlelight. You see a dude doing like a very bro-y pose, like on a crate, like he's leaning there, like with his hand on a sword. He's right now, his eyes are about like this big because the door's just fucking shattered. You get a sense that he was probably supposed to be watching that door, and now it just exploded.
I go strong. I start. I give one of my battle cries and just start charging towards the table, just to see if I can break him up. Is that brawn, panache?
Go with panache. Go with panache. Yep.
I want to use my keywords.
Yes.
Being here a point when I refuse to leave well enough alone. I want to free these people. Not leaving
Absolutely.
until
Good.
they're
That was
free.
step 2. Please, thank you. Please, and
You
thank
remember how horrible that boat trip was for you, and you did it by choice. You see these poor folks there. There's women, children, elderly folks. It's not a pretty sight.
Well, I gotta
And
figure out first which one of these tools has the key.
your heartstrings are immediately tugged.
So remember, rank 3, you get to re-roll a single die. And as I have 3 ranks in 2 of them, I'm going to re-roll 2 die.
That's right.
Let's see if that helps me. Yes.
Is it rank 4 your dice start to explode? Or 5?
Rank 5. Rank 4 sets of 15 equal 2 raises. And oh no, I boned myself.
Wait. So that's a 15
If you have 4 ranks,
in resolve.
In a- you got 4 in resolve?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well then, shit.
I'm all resolved.
I thought that
Well,
was just skill.
We found her.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically,
Is she in the pile of people?
no,
No, and
she's not. No, she's in the back room
yeah.
where the bad people are. You
And
see that there's a door in the back of the warehouse that leads to another area, and you
goes
smell her
straight
in
to
that.
that.
Yeah. So my 3 raises say that this guy shits his pants and start running because the day just turned into a day that he
That's
was not
right.
prepared for.
The guys at the table, most of them remain there despite having a holy shit moment. The guy that was supposed to be watching the door, the moment you clear it, you actually pass him on the way.
Yeah.
Where he runs in the opposite direction and doesn't even look back. Like he actually passes you guys
Can
as
I
well.
actually try to stop him because I need to know if he has the key?
Sure.
Can
That guy is
I just like
fucking.
pull my arm out and someone like clothesline him?
Let's go to initiative.
Okay.
All right.
At that point,
How do we do that again?
so initiative goes to whoever has the most raises. So
Oh, so we
before you
roll
roll
and
initiative,
decide.
you have to
Do something.
tell
My
your
approach is-
approach.
Fucking clothesline this guy.
All right.
And I also want to May I possibly use resolve because I am currently in my hubris and I'm relentless.
Yep.
Thank you.
That makes perfect sense. So you're trying to stop this guy.
Mhm.
That's what you want to do. Okay?
And athletics, I guess?
Yes. Everybody will roll together. Jenya, you're heading towards.
I'm gonna bust open that door, find that bitch, and drag her out.
Okay. So yours is going to be a Dex and Athletics. That's your. Not Dex, Finesse. Sorry.
No.
Yep. Finesse and Athletics as your.
Because you have no fun.
You're basically running and you're gonna barrel through that door.
Yeah. I'm bigger than the door.
I got 3.
Okay. Record how many, what kind of roll we're making and what.
And 9.
Yeah. Brethel, have you?
Oh yeah. So I'm basically going to bull rush the table
Okay.
to just chuck it and further try and intimidate these other stooges.
You
to
grab
also
it
disperse.
or kick it or.
Table flip.
Okay.
Using like the shoulder, just
The
wow.
mother of all
Yeah,
table
just-
flips.
Yeah.
All right, let's go with the brawn plus brawl. Brawl that fucking table.
Can I go intimidate? Because I'm really more intimidating just by throwing
Sure.
this thing on.
Yeah, if you're going more for the intimidation factor, I'll let you substitute panache if you have more of that. If you're going for that.
Equal. And I'm also going to run my hubris, which is foolhardy, because we're attacking over
You're
our
running
house.
first. You know some of these guys have swords and pistols, and you're rushing into it. So yes,
What does the hubris grant me? It gives me.
it gives you an extra hero point, so you're making back up that hero point you spent earlier.
All right.
Jimena?
So there's people over here that are all chainy-like.
Yep.
There's a table over here that he's
Yep.
destroying.
There's a dude that's passing by Marilena, which he seems to be intent on stopping. And then you have a wolf running for the back door at full speed with no sign that she's gonna stop.
Baby, how can we make this even more dramatic?
Full speed ahead.
Without fire.
I know, that's why I'm like,
Make sure
I
the
think-
slaves get out first.
I think for now, Jimena's gonna basically gonna draw her sword and sort of stand at the door, so if anybody else tries to get out of here that isn't
Right.
a,
Perfect.
victim of human trafficking.
Okay. You're blocking the exit,
Yes.
making it a very making that door as unappealing as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So roll me a panache and intimidation. You have that?
Yeah.
Evine.
I'm gonna draw my bow and
Perfect.
get ready to shoot whatever I need to shoot.
If you're looking for choice targets, the guy that's sitting in the back of that table looks like he's carrying about 3 pistols and is reaching for those.
Oh,
Him then.
Oh, perfect.
That's one.
So that's a finesse plus aim.
Cool.
yeah, that was better.
3.
So that's 10.
Yeah.
That's 16 and 6, which is 22. That's 2. Does it work that way?
No,
Doesn't
it's
Okay, so then 2.
it's groupings of 10.
Okay, so 2. I got 2.
Okay.
But
I can roll.
yeah, let's see if it doesn't
I
help you.
3.
3.
Mhm.
Okay. How many did you get?
No. I got 2.
2.
But what's the reroll?
Right.
If you have 3 dots in something,
Oh, yay.
then you
Yeah,
can,
you can
reroll
reroll
a die.
one.
3.
Yeah, there you go.
Perfect.
I don't know why. I looked at that question. You guys went, that's nice.
And then, yeah.
Does that
so
mean if you have 3 dots and 2 things, you can reroll 2 die?
Hmm?
So does that mean if you have 3 dots in both things, you can reroll 2?
I just did, yes.
Yep,
Ooh. Let's see.
correct. It's especially
I
powerful.
see that it says it right here on the sheet as well.
Yeah, I was Tony pointed that out to me, and I was like, I looked at that a couple times,
Took me-
but never actually read it.
2 sessions to notice it.
So
Yeah.
it's not just from skeleton street also.
Absolutely.
It just says rank, so that's what I went on.
Yep.
Then I think I have 4 because I rolled it.
Still 3.
Yeah. Because you have at least 4. Because you have
I
4
have
dots.
4 in resolve.
There you go. Yeah. Do it.
That's all you have 3.
Yep.
Okay, almost everybody got 3, so this will all happen very simultaneously.
I just imagine the like Pirates of the Caribbean.
It's just,
Yeah, basically.
yeah.
These guys were just playing cards like 3 seconds ago.
And then a howl, and they're like, "What
Yep.
the fuck is that?" And then, blah.
Yep, it's just erupted into bullshit. Yeah, and then the music kicked in.
Your couch.
Okay, well, Marilyn, you're first.
Okay. So how is this again? I have 4 raises and I expended on things.
Yes.
How many is it going to take me to close on this asshole then?
So your goal is to stop him.
My goal is to stop him, and I don't actually care if that includes killing him, because this is disgusting.
So with 2 of those successes, you will successfully stop him.
Can I put him? Can I throw him down to the ground
Yes. With 3, you'll get it on the ground.
and then stomp on him with my foot?
Maybe I'll have
Absolutely.
the birthday to the ground.
So you will
She
bring
should've
him
put
to the
on pants a
ground
while back.
and then damage him with that 4th one. So if you put all 4 of those on there, he will be brought to the ground and hurt from your stop attempt. Is that where you're spending it?
Yep.
All right. So this guy is going for the door. Those of you, Jimena, because this happened close to you, you catch a glance of it over your shoulder. This guy looks like he hit an iron pole at about chest level. So he's gunning for the door, and then suddenly he's ass over head, falling to the ground, and then she plants her foot like firmly onto his chest, knocking the wind
And I basically lay down and say,
right out
people
of him.
are not merchandise.
He's under your boot, and you see his eyes welling up, and then he says,
I mean, hey.
I don't want your excuses.
yes, he's nice and stopped and out of breath.
Right.
All right, that's it for all of your dice this turn. So, Evine, Rethold, and Genya, you're all going at once.
Oh, and
I only got
And then
2.
I got
so-
you still only got
She'll go
two.
after.
Yeah, well, so mine's pretty quick. It's I'm definitely gonna do 2 of those raises to just fucking throw that table,
Perfect.
screaming, roaring, because that was a
I'm so glad.
yeah, because that was a plus intimidate, and just to be like, yeah, I'm like, I'm not even armed yet.
Right.
Let's see what happens.
3 of these guys seem to they get out of the way and they're backing up. They don't look stable,
Yeah.
but they don't run. The other 2 dudes have thoroughly shat their pants and they're like, fuck this warehouse.
Thing
Fuck
where
this.
you like fall out of a chair and start.
Yeah.
Basically, like one of them just slides off with his chair and then he's crawling on all 4s and gunning for the door. The other dude is following right behind him. So, Jimena will be coming your way.
I still got one other foot.
Which is the fun part, because I don't think they can see, like the warehouse is dark enough that you can't really see clearly what happened. You just heard like a big hoof and a lot of like breathing, so yeah. But right now they have like a crazed northerner flipping their table and throwing them out. So they're like, fuck this. We're out. All right.
Go ahead, Evie.
Evine, your quarry just stepped out of his chair and he's desperately trying to pull his pistols as an attempt to defend from the potential berserker that just got in his face.
Shoot him.
All right, so you got three raises, so you only need the one to actually hit him.
Yeah. I think I'll just use one in case I need to aim more precisely later.
Okay. With two, if you spend 2 on this, you can actually aim for his hand. If you use all 3, since he's grabbing one of his pistols, you would actually be able to shoot the pistol right out of his hand.
Ooh, so tempting.
Trigger finger.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. Yeah, I'll shoot the pistol out of his hand. Why not? Use all 3.
Perfect. He's grabbing desperately and freeing his pistol out to try to defend himself against this blonde Hulk that just barreled through. And he manages to pull the pistol just enough, and the moment you actually see it free, your arrow shoots through, hits the pistol, who discharges somewhere off in the ether and flips right out of his hand, and he looks around like the devil himself has fallen upon this warehouse.
You just said that Russell
yeah.
before.
Yeah. He's just laughing in his face.
Yep. He looks very frightened suddenly. All right.
So I use a cluster to bust down the door,
Yes.
and then I release an angry bark, and I find that bitch. I assume aim for the
Yes.
throat, and yeah, I just throw her to the. I jump down and throw her to the ground.
Okay.
So that's one.
Yes. So yeah, let's flip it. You'll use 1 to break the door because again, that door
Yes,
is weakened,
One to do the door.
and you've built so much momentum at this point that you almost only need to lower your hand and basically just ram through the door.
Wolf head right through the door.
And besides the small pony, why not?
You find in this room 2 men and a lady kind of hunched over a table that has like parchment laid out on it. All of them look very what you know of Bodace, right? The 2 men sport very evil looking goatees.
Oh my god.
One of them
So pointy, so sharp.
yes. One of them is probably about like 6'6", 6'7", carrying like a gigantic sword. The other guy looks, much more, sharply dressed and smarmy. And then you have a lady wearing, sort of nondescript breeches. She's pointing at something on the parchment with a small knife that looks very similar to the one you sniffed just a moment ago. They all turn towards you the moment that door shatters to splinters, and you descend upon her and throw her to the ground. So So she is firmly under your paws right now, with a very
Just muzzle in her face, growling,
Yeah,
drool, dripping.
just like a mix of confusion
Yeah.
and fear settling in on her face as she realizes what the fuck is happening.
As much as one can at this
Mhm,
point.
mhm.
How quickly do I shift back?
Um,
How quickly can I switch? She's gonna stay a wolf for a little bit.
right. I think it should be fairly quick.
Okay, cool.
It's a few seconds.
So I still have one to use.
Mhm.
Okay, very good.
Bitch.
All right, Jimena.
So are those two dudes still coming towards
Oh
you?
yeah. They're barreling through.
Yeah.
You're not sure they quite saw you, but they're about to.
Oh, they're about to. Jimena, I'm going to use one of these.
Yep.
She pulls a thing off of her belt, smashes it on the floor. The flames come up, and she dips her sword in them.
Yes.
And then raises it up and holds it in front of her. Now she's got a flaming sword,
Perfect.
and she takes her stance and she goes, "Oh yeah."
You thought you were shitting your pants earlier?
Right?
Right.
You weren't even ready for this.
You got the intimidation roll going, so
Mm-hmm.
you have how many success?
I
How many
have
raises
2
left?
raises.
Okay.
And
So you use one to do your.
to get my fire going.
Okay.
Mi fuego.
If you use the other
Mm-hmm.
right now, so if you pour a second raise, the opportunity you'll get is that you're pretty sure these dudes will give up.
Okay.
They look about done, right? They were done back there when the table flew
Mm-hmm. Now they have
and
to
they
get
got yelled at.
fire sword.
Yep. So
Okay.
if you pour both, they basically stop like dead in their tracks, and then they start talking about a mile a minute in Castilian.
Mm-hmm.
One of them starts crying. They both pull their swords out. One of them is taking out his pants, like his pants are falling down, right? Like he's just like
Why is everybody taking their pants off?
you hear.
It's a
Well,
Castilian thing. It's a
Apparently.
sign of surrender.
that's actually the crying dude because he's trying to undo like his belt that has his weapons on it, so it goes faster, but it will not come off. And he's like, in Castilian, he's basically like, "Won't you come off? Like I don't want to die here. Come on, man! Like it's all hold on me." Like he's just panicking, trying to take his belt off.
That's very sad.
Yes.
We're probably gonna find out his name's Jose, and then we're gonna hire him to do some odd jobs.
We're not going to find out his name is Jose. They're all Jose.
You're right. You're right.
Yes.
I normally love 30-60 person, but these people don't that.
Years later, they will tell tales of
How so
the
many
time of
people-
strife in San Felipe when the army of Jose's took over the peninsula.
turn from their evil ways and rose up,
That's right.
start our own secret society of the Jose's.
All right, Rethel, do you have any successes left?
Oh yeah.
All right, so
Hold on to one.
one guy from that group that looks one of the more seasoned one
Mm-hmm.
finds his courage and draws a blade and points it sharply at you, basically trying for a stab. He just lunges the blade towards you, but only with one success.
Then I will spend my success my raise in response to basically slap the sword.
Yep.
Like, bam!
It gets about like a few inches from you, and you're just like slapping it out in the air.
What are you even doing?
Yeah.
Sit down.
That's
Put
right.
that back.
Just, and that's the other intimidate. To be
Oh,
like,
you're on it.
come on, don't you? That's right.
You mean the guy that you hit is desperately trying to pull out another one of his pistols, but the brute squad just ran out of successes, so he can't do anything.
Yeah.
They had to spend some of it not to, empty their bowels and vacate the premises.
Well, they try to vacate.
Or vacate the bowels and empty the premises.
Yeah.
Either way.
It's interchangeable.
Every time he tries to reach for another pistol, he goes, ow. Ow.
All right.
You'll never be able to shoot again.
Genya?
Just
Oh, yeah,
triggers.
Junior's ready.
Yes. The lady underneath you can do very little, but contemplate what is happening to her. The tall dude just pulls out this big sword immediately and try to swing it at you in an attempt to dislodge you from over the woman.
So because I'm a soldier, I stick with the plan regardless of my safety.
Mm-hmm.
Stick with the plan.
That's right.
I'm going to spend a hero point, which I'm probably going to get back
Yes.
for using my soldier.
Correct. So
So I'm spending my hero point that I get every day, and I'm adding my other one to my collection of them I've been gathering.
yes.
And so I use my strength of 10 to basically, with my back feet, go, no!
So you rear kick him
Yeah.
before he can make a swing.
Yeah.
And he committed. How many successes do you have?
I had the one,
Okay.
but I have my strength of 10
Okay.
hero point that I used.
Yeah, that's right.
You have
So-
great strength of feet.
I have great strength of feet!
Yep. With your hero point, that is enough to counter his attack. So you see him rearing up, and he swings the sword out in a big overhead strike and aim at your back, and then suddenly
That's nice.
both wolf feet kick him in the chest. And even though you don't see it on his features, he is thoroughly surprised at how much of a kick you're packing. It's like getting kicked by a mule. And he's just rearing back, and his ass hits the table with all the documents on it.
And still growling at that bitch.
Yeah. The smarmy dude pulls out a very thin blade and actually thrusts it at you, which, if you don't have any successes, will take 1 point of
So
damage.
since I used my strength of 10, does that mean I don't have to use my success to block the dude with the sword?
It took 2, because he had 2.
Okay.
They had 2 in the attack pool,
Okay,
so it took the 2 to
yeah.
block him.
No,
So you have a free 1.
I'll take the
So you can
I'll
mark
take the hit.
the first box on there, which
Oh no, guys, we finally took damage.
yeah.
I've been taking damage on a lot because I'm
Right,
taking
it's
the last
phase
Yeah, but you did it to yourself.
That's different.
I don't think
Some of
so.
my sorcery is regeneration, so
Yeah.
I can
So-
I can soak it in.
I'm supposed to be getting hit, but no one's hit me yet.
They're
So,
too busy
Fucking
pissing
hit me so I can use my
my
fucking
face.
fireball.
It will come.
How
It
much
will
rebuke?
come.
There you go.
Oh, right.
All right. So this fun surprise round is now over.
But,
Oh, great.
even though I was stabbed with a stiletto, I'm like, fly, mosquito bite.
Yeah, that's right.
Job,
In the grand scheme of things,
I don't got time for this.
I don't know if that's what they still call it in that edition, but
Mm-hmm.
the boxes that are not the stars on there were actually called flesh wound.
Nice.
in The original.
It's only a flesh wound.
That's right.
Give a scratch.
So, beginning of turn 2. Woo!
Yay. Yay.
I feel like my approach now is like my next task is to figure out where the key is.
Okay.
My next task is to
And I'm not sure how I would do
Please
that. Yeah.
Roll.
roll.
How many raises?
I didn't get any. I peed everywhere.
that
Oh,
I guess I'm just gonna.
happened to me once, Lisa,
oh
Somebody
when I went downhill skiing.
on Friday, somebody decided to take a dump next to the toilet,
Oh, yeah.
in our
Mhm.
men's bathroom.
Yeah, that works.
They used to
And,
work
like,
in the
They
restaurant.
took the time to
That's
wipe, but they just threw the toilet paper on top of the steaming
Perfect.
pile of
They're
shit
like-
that they did in like the corner of the stall as opposed to in the toilet.
They're like, let's not break that trend. I didn't,
Grade.
Yeah.
I didn't get it right the first time.
It's not a passing grade, but it's still, but it's not a fail. No, full fit failure. You know, they're in the right area. They did all the right steps. They
Nothing counts. Counts.
couldn't quite.
Yeah, we had to close off the men's bathroom. It was super gross.
Yep. From having a restaurant job, the amount of people that cannot shit in a toilet-sized, object is surprisingly high.
One time, a long time ago, Steven went, the old Capitol 16 cinemas, the ones that closed even though
Right.
the drive-in is still open,
Mm-hmm.
in like
Yeah,
a weird
yeah.
twist of fate.
Yeah, that's right.
He went there once to see a movie with somebody, and he was going to the bathroom after the movie was over and discovered that someone had shit in one of the sinks.
Perfect. Someone was like, all the stalls are occupied, and
Yeah.
That shit had to be.
Yeah.
That shit
I
had
have
to
to
be
do
a bed. They'd be
this.
like, guys, check this out. I'm just
Yeah.
like, why?
Hold my beer.
Yeah. Well, when that happened at work the other on Friday, my coworker was like, "I have seen it where people like someone takes a shit in a urinal, so I believe it."
Yep.
I'm like, why can't boys just poop when they're supposed to?
I don't know.
It's not that hard.
They're not used to waiting, I guess.
I'm not gonna make excuses. 'Cause I don't know. I had to clean those damn bathrooms so many times.
My father was a high school custodian.
So you're going for the keys,
It was not
Marlon?
technically my job,
Yes,
but the
I'm
girl
trying
that was
to figure out
supposed to
where they
clean
are,
them,
which means
every
they're
time it
going
happened, would
I'm gonna try
come
to
out of the
convince this
bathroom and be
dude
like,
to tell me.
and I was like, all right,
I have to let
What do
him
you
the
do?
pressure a
Yeah.
little bit, so.
I'm not cleaning vomit on top of the
Keys, punk. He doesn't need to be able to breathe to point.
Right?
Disabled in this guy.
Yeah.
Ganache, and let's go with, I mean, you can use intimidate, you can use empathy, you can use convince,
Well,
depending on which one you have higher.
I mean, empathy and my convince are the same. 3.
Okay.
Depends
on the approach you take, whether you demand the key or you're trying to.
Wait, empathy would be so because I'm trying to read how to react to things.
Empathy would be if you try to play good cop.
Oh.
With them.
Which
No.
you already have your foot on his chest. So.
Yes.
No,
I think it's
I'm
a
gonna
little late
convince
for
him that
good
it's a very good idea for his continued living. Tell me exactly where this is, or
Okay.
I mean,
And use convince.
or he's going to find out what all those noises back there mean.
Right.
Okay.
The group of people in chains are starting to make more noise, and you start to hear like sort of really plaintive like calls of like, help us, please help us.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna double down on the intimidate,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna slap them both. just bap. Free them.
Perfect. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So that's
You
where
can
I'm,
use
that's where I'm going
panache.
now. Oh
You
yeah,
can
no,
still
that's style right there.
Yep. You can use intimidate, but you can also use brawl if you prefer, whatever is higher.
I'm all bluster, and I can walk the talk.
You're not
but
trying
I'd
to
rather-
really hurt them.
I can walk the talk. I just rather talk.
You'd rather just talk to talk.
What do you
Alright, well, that's
thinking
great.
there? What do you think you're going for?
I'm going to switch back into Genya form.
Okay.
I'm going to pull the stiletto from my side, use it to pin her clothes to the floor, and then pull my hunting knives
Okay.
and bury one in Mr. Pretty over here.
Okay. One that stabbed you.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll go with a Yeah, you're not trying to be pretty about this. Let's go with
No.
brawn.
Ron and roll.
I will let you, since you invoke your soldier and
I
the
also,
show must go on, sort of, I will let you substitute resolve.
I was gonna say, I also have Riot Breaker
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and, no, I already used my strength of 10, so yeah.
Yep.
Substitute resolve,
For brawn.
magic.
You're running on pure adrenaline, and we're doing this
I
right
am
now.
a super predator. I have those as ones. That's 6, 10, 9, 10. But if I want to go for 15s, so I can do
Mhm.
2 raises. Because that's 10 and 10 exactly 12. I still end up with just 2 raises.
Okay.
If I split them up to 15. So yeah,
Alright.
2.
What are you after, Naveen?
It's about a
Try and shoot other pistol.
Okay. Perfect. You're like, I can do this all day.
3 raises.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say, you know, your other Earth loving friend is fighting 3 people by herself.
That's okay.
You know what?
I doubt this
Okay.
is gonna go longer than another round.
Yeah.
I was.
Yeah.
Evie,
Oh, also,
what's your virtue and hubris eating?
it is.
I'm trusting the family.
I super didn't realize that you could use more than one arcane.
Where? Oh, there it is. Virtue is subtle. Hubris is curious.
I don't think they came into play yet.
Not
Sorry, Evie, I missed that.
Virtue is subtle. Hubris is curious.
Okay. So, fun thing. Depending on how many raises you roll on this roll,
Mm-hmm.
you put a hero point to it. I will let you get a special opportunity and shoot them both at once.
Ooh.
Shooting 2 arrows.
But she did get the successes, she said.
I got 3.
3 raises?
Yeah.
With a hero point, you can totally do that.
We'll do that rapid
Okay. Can I also, before I shoot, since I'm noticing that this guy seems uneasy.
Yep.
Can I just like say something in a like scary sounding Finnish dialect type of
Yep.
like I'm casting some sort of spell, but I'm not really.
You say, beautiful day, isn't it?
Yep. That's right. Absolutely. 3 raises, okay.
I hope your mother loved you.
What's happening?
Rethel, how many did you?
Oh, I had 3.
3? Okay. Marilena, you have
3.
3. 3 is the 4, I think. Well, you guys
We're in the middle of something.
are going first.
I haven't done anything yet.
Oh yeah. What are you after, Jimena?
Well, the 2 guys that I was intimidating before have basically given up
On life.
on life.
Unsubscribe.
So Jimena, first of all, is going to ask either of them if they have the key and know where it is.
Okay. Roll me a panache and convince if you have that.
I don't.
You have intimidate,
Yes.
then use intimidate. It will just be less. Do either of you have the key and more? Give me the key.
Still, sword is still on fire.
Yep.
So.
Oh yeah. No, it's a good incentive.
1. Ha! 2 once again.
Okay. Perfect. All right, so we have Marilena, Rethold, and Evine going at the same time. Rethold, you're going with your
Oh yeah.
jewel
yeah.
slap.
Do I need to spend 2 raises to slap each of them, or just one raise for the slaps?
I think at this point you can probably. Well, one of them just attacked you, so it'd probably be 2 to get both of them.
Okay. Yeah. Then absolutely. Then right after the pistol gets discharged.
Yep.
And he's like, ah!
Yep.
I'm like, I know I've got at least half a beat before another one comes in, so I'm like, blap! And that was after I beat away the other sword, so I'm like, blap! And I'm like, free the slaves!
Perfect. Yes, it does seem to have some effect, at least on the one that hadn't attacked you. And we'll resolve that next. But yeah, you're clearly, this guy's like, oh my god, oh, he's crazy.
Right. Nah.
Evine, since we already worked out a pretty solid plan of attack, you're putting on those successes to shout something in Innish and then shoot both other pistols.
Yes.
All right. So, you shout your invective in Innish, confusing him even further, like, what the fuck is gonna happen now? And you actually knock 2 arrows, and they both get freed in a pretty perfect arc. The pistol that he was holding, you hit sort of almost between the pistol and his hand, and you see him, some blood getting drawn, and he drops the pistol to the ground. The second arrow actually hits his baldric, and for a second, you see on his face just fear flashing as he thinks he got hit, but then the baldric gets detached and his other pistol falls to the ground and immediately discharges in his foot.
Wow. Damn, that's not having a good time.
No. And after your invective, he just rolls on the ground and he's trying to crawl away. Like he's not even going towards the door. He's crawling towards the crate. Like he's gonna go back there and live there forever, never coming out.
This is your home now.
What was that?
This is your home now.
I look over the other one and I go, now?
Yes, one of them actually rushes through him and seems to leave the melee and just dashes towards the chained people.
You're right, I was wrong, sorry.
Yep.
So who had the other 3?
Marilena?
It was me.
All
I
right.
was trying to get this guy to tell me where the keys are.
Yeah.
Or where. I still know where that ring is.
He finally catches his breath enough that he points towards the back room.
Okay.
And then he tries to tell you something, but he's still not. He hasn't caught his breath enough to speak. So like he just puts both of his hands together like this, and he just keeps like moving them towards you.
How many raises did that take?
You had 3.
Yeah.
Only the 1.
I can do 2 more raises. But it's a convince roll. I can't use it for other things that aren't convincing.
Yeah.
And what? I can't?
You can.
Oh, I can. Okay. Can I just try to knock him out?
Yep. For sure. You can bring your boot and bring your foot down upon his face.
I will do that.
All right. With 2 successes, if you spend both on it, he goes out. You hear a pretty satisfying crack and
I
goes
start
into
immediately
Neverland.
moving towards the door the back door.
Perfect. You actually pass Jimena on your way there with her sword on fucking fire and two dudes, one of them crying.
Without pants.
Right.
That's
The other one,
taking off
the other one
his
is
pants.
reaching into his booth, like just holding like a 1 second. I'm trying to get it. Like he's trying to get his boot knife.
I feel like if I wasn't so determined, I would probably high five you right now.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Jania, you are up. That's right.
So yes, I shift back into me.
With a crack, you shift back into your form, surprising everybody else in the room. You hear a few words of Bodace getting whispered, and even though you don't know Bodace, you're like, these can't be nice words.
Should not say bad things to people you do not know.
You
Well,
pin.
knife, pin.
Yep.
And
And then you get your 2 extra to hit
yes.
the snooty guy that just hit you.
Yep.
All right.
Do you get clothes?
Yeah.
I'm looking to drop Snooty for stabbing me.
Yes. You actually connect, and he lets out a whimpered, oh, and then staggers backwards, holding his bloodied side.
Hunting knife.
Is that what I've been doing to
Serrated
people?
blades. Slice.
I'm an asshole.
I'm an asshole.
I'm an asshole.
Okay. Jimena, you're up.
Jimena just sort of takes a step forward with his blade toast on fire. Just wanted to know how to let these people go.
They got the key. They got the key back there. You can just go back there and grab the key.
I hear this?
Yes.
Alright, cool.
You see that the dude that you ordered to free the slaves is actually up there. He's drawn a sword and he's banging on some of the chains out there. There's sparks flying, like he's trying to like do something, even though he doesn't have the keys.
Then I'm gonna spend the last raise to run past him and pat him on the shoulder like, you're doing good. And then and then rush into
Yep.
this thing and just start yelling again.
We're done with these.
Just, like I see you stabbing people, and I'm just
Yep.
like,
Rethel, you surprise everyone in that room yet again. But the big dude with his ass to the table is now deciding that this wolf woman, I guess, is
Not
You
to be
know.
trifled with.
no, and he rushes you with a big sword with 2 razors.
She bites, stabs, and kicks. No thanks.
Right. So do you have any razors left? Rethel?
do I?
Yeah.
Oh, because he's coming after me?
Yeah, he's coming at you.
No.
All
I
right.
take it.
So you'll get a couple
Yeah.
damages.
Give me those. Yeah, each one's. Ooh! Oh!
Oh yeah!
Yeah, no, this is. Want to get to that next. We get to that next dot. You want it?
And I believe it is
That clears us out.
everybody for this round. Amanda, how we doing?
I probably should go to sleep.
Okay.
1:15.
You seem to have taken care of the gun dude.
Yeah. So there's a couple people in the back room. If you're okay with that, Amanda, we'll go and resolve that piece.
Yeah,
Vivian is sort of in the main room anyways, and then we'll
You're supervising the people chain.
we'll resolve the big picture next time we play.
I'll start like helping unshackle people and stuff.
Yeah, that's right. There's a very motivated guy
Right.
hitting it with a sword. He's not making a lot of progress, but by God,
Gonna die if he doesn't. That motivates
He's
people.
absolutely right.
Yep. The other two guys are trying to help, but they've already surrendered their weapons to Jimena, so they're even less effective. Like they're grabbing the chain and trying to rip it off the ground.
One of them's gnawing on it.
So are we stopping now, or are we continuing?
I think we're letting her go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's finish the back room brawl so that next time we can pick up out of
Well, good night, Amanda.
Good night.
Night, Amanda.
Bye.
Thank you for playing.
Bye.
Yes.
Jet.
Okay. So new round. We got some people trying to free the captives, and then Rethold and Jenya are embroidered in a brawl in the back room.
I don't remember what my name is. Where did she go? Where did my sheet go? Just disappeared.
Wow.
It's underneath here.
Lift your book again, dear.
It's underneath the book.
You literally just looked at it.
She was looking this way and she lifted.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Very helpful maneuver.
Thanks.
I don't know what's in this chest.
No, I don't want that.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much want to make this in the key. So.
So you're going to the back?
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure I'm going to have an approach when I don't really know what's going on in there at the moment I'm starting.
I was like,
Yeah.
well, you come in and I'm literally straddling this woman to the ground. Her clothes are pinned to the floor with a stiletto I pulled out of my hip.
Rethold is sort of in the door
And there's a pompous guy being like, I just got stabbed.
Rethold is in the Major Armstrong duel with another big dude.
Well, I think that I'm basically, I'm probably just going to major Arcana and activate this. I don't even know what it is, but I'm just going to do it.
Activating it blind.
Yep.
Okay. So for that, roll me wits
Okay.
and scholarship. You're focusing on the woman, right?
Yes.
I was like, you don't want to be friendly like that.
Um, 4.
Okay.
We have so many lashes now. The face are not happy with me.
Yeah, but don't you get bonus die to wrist
Did you
or
get-
something?
Do you get one of those
Oh,
stars?
lashes.
Yep.
No.
Because she's not actually taking damage, she's taking lashes, or is it
Yeah, well, I have to convert the lashes to damage.
wounds?
But I currently have 3 of them.
Okay. Okay, so that's 4 from there and there. Right, Jamie, what's your approach?
Well, I'm keeping her pinned. And so got another hunting knife. So
Damn it.
where's pitiful?
He staggered back, but he's still pretty much in front of you.
Okay, well, I guard. If he comes at me, he'll get the other knife.
Okay. So you're still.
But I've got like I'm holding her down.
Okay.
She's not going fucking nowhere.
All right. So let's go with a brawn and weaponry, since you're using your knives.
One.
One.
Okay. Unless I have 3 bombs.
Yep.
Okay.
2. Reroll is
That's nice.
very useful.
So I burn a hero point to use stare down,
Okay.
and I step right into Big Man, and look him dead in the face, and I go, "This will not go well for you."
Okay. So
Um,
full on intimidate.
so yeah, all I need to do is spend the hero point to get the effect.
Okay.
But since I'm not pulling weapons or anything and just standing there, I'm hoping my Shore Over will kick in, my pirate, which gives me a hero point when I put myself in danger in order to ensure it
Absolutely.
plays it off on this table.
Absolutely.
Because
Absolutely.
yeah, I'm ready for him to nail me if this doesn't happen.
Yes.
In which case, I guess I will try to withstand it
Okay.
in order to reinforce this intimidation,
All right.
or to back up my assistant there.
I'll let you
The
use
leader of the pack.
brawn or panache for that, and roll and intimidate.
All right.
Is it standing to hit?
Okay.
Plus the hero point.
So those are numbers. Okay. Yeah. Oh, boo. Okay. Well, still good. All right.
Yeah. 2, 3,
Oh yeah, 3.
3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Jimena, any specific actions you're taking?
Jimena.
Right now, you convince those 2 dudes. They're working hard at trying to break those chains.
In lieu of there being a key, Jimena is going to put the flame out on her sword, but then take the hot blade and see if she can rend
Oh,
the
okay.
chains.
All right.
Just see if that'll work.
Okay.
To get, because are they all like individually chained to the floor, or is there like one long chain?
There's a long chain.
And
There are all
it's at
sorts of.
one end. It's
Yep.
so she's gonna at least try to get it detached
Right.
from the floor.
There's sort of 2 rows, so
Yeah.
you can grab one of them and at least free a bunch of them at once. So you pick the one that is not the ones that the 3 stooges are working on.
Yeah.
And work with that. So I'll let you use let's just say brawn and weaponry. It's not quite an attack, but
Yeah. Two.
2. Okay. All right. Well, Marilena, you're first.
Alright. So yeah, knowing absolutely nothing about what I'm like, what this woman's hubris, I activated, and believing that at least for this time, fate was on my side.
All right. You're basically flying blind, but you focus on the negative strands in that woman and give those a big old tug. If you spend me 3 raises
Okay.
on that, this will basically render her ineffective.
Yeah, do it.
Okay?
I'll pull that one. Who knows?
So you focus on all the negative strand in that you can perceive in that woman. You're not even identifying what they are. And you basically do the equivalent of wrapping your fingers around it, and you make a fist and then tug hard on it. And you almost see them turn scarlet red in your hand after you tug it in until they reach her. And she looks around the room and she's immediately like incensed, like this should not be happening. And she starts shouting in Vodace, "Who the hell do you all think you are? You're beneath us. Why are you even here?" Right?
Actually, you are beneath me.
You basically just hear this. It's in Vodace,
Yeah,
so it's like a long,
Okay.
fast-paced string of curses, and it's like, "You have no right to be here. You have no right to stop us.
But-
How dare you?"
By the
Right?
way, dude, can I tell that she's not a witch? Or is
Yes.
that okay.
Or
Then
if she is.
When
mean-
you reach that, she's no strega.
what did I basically say? Because you are not what you say you are, and I know.
She-
Underneath the shouting.
She looks at you and she's like beet red when she looks at you, and she just lets out this long string of expletives. Like, how dare you? She calls you every name under the sun. Like, you what? How dare you do this to us? But she's so focused on how pissed she is that this is happening right now that she's very inefficiently trying to get off, and she's not even removing the knife that's pinning her to the ground.
So I feel that I'm just going to very calm, completely unaffected, just stare back at her, make her feel my derision
Right.
for her.
As you look at her, you see your handiwork. Like the strands in her are so tugged right now. She's so pissed, and she's so wrapped up in her own like, who the fuck do you think you are? Feel that she's not even able to see anything else. It's like a blanket over her eyes. It's like she's completely possessed by that feeling.
Okay. Cool.
She's having a legit tantrum.
Yeah, I just watch as calmly and coldly as I can.
She's not going to get anywhere. I'm sitting on her, so.
Yeah, Jenya, you're holding her down, but she's not even making a good effort to get out
You're just all top.
from under your thumb. Like she's basically just like, life is unfair. You know, that's she's so wrapped up in that she can't even put up a good fight.
Honestly, I'm glad she's doing that because I don't even know if I have the words for this person.
Rethold, you're up.
Stare down doesn't require an action,
Nope.
and so I say the words, and I wait to see how he wants to play it because I'm ready to dance either way.
You actually see him look towards the other dude, and he sees the lady just lose his shit, right? So he actually takes a step back and pulls the sword to his side and actually like arcs it down and basically like raises a hand like, okay, bro, I got you. Like, one of my bosses is busy getting his ass kicked, and the other is just going full on batshit insane right now. So that, okay, you got it.
I wonder if I can feel it, like if I just leave it this way, we should just completely use it entirely.
Maybe, probably.
I mean, it will alleviate eventually, but right now that's all she sees.
So since he's cool,
Yep.
since we're all a bunch of Fonzies now, at least over here.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to use one of those raises then to move over to the boss apparently, and
The one that's stricken out.
The one I stabbed or the one that I'm kneeling on?
well, they're a patriarchal society, so she wouldn't be the boss.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, so the Weasley one, of course, is going to be the lead. So yeah, I just use that to move into there and sort of set up and be like, I am here too now.
Okay. So you're backing her up. So here's what I'm gonna do. When she does take her action, feel free to. You can actually pour successes into her action to aid her. You can actually do like a twofold.
Well, my
Attack.
action is basically to keep her pinned,
Mhm.
and if he attacks me again, to retaliate.
Okay. Well, you're going at the same time, so
Yeah.
he will very likely try to, because right now there's a lot of people between him and the door, so desperation will call to that. But because you're holding those actions and you were going first, you'll be able to resolve that before it hits you.
Mhm.
All right. Jimena, if you pour, you have 2 successes.
Mm-hmm.
If you have both of those on there, you'll be able to wedge your hot blade where the lock is, and just because the wood is sort of the weakling, you sort of manage to wedge it under and you pull it out. And one full row of the people there, like basically sort of pull immediately on the chain and they scamper. Though a couple of the dudes that were close by immediately take the opportunity and start kicking the shit out of the 3 dudes trying to break the other chain.
No, there's one over there, and there's one over there. Go beat them.
That's the nearest one. And right now they're all daisy chained to each other. So the anger just reaches a boiling point.
I get look. There's one over there. Use my raises to redirect rage.
If you point to the other guy that is now trying to regain breath, the entire line descends upon him.
The lieutenant, yeah.
You're dead.
Yeah.
Maybe don't kidnap people.
And
How about that?
traffic humans, yeah.
How about that?
Pretty simple, guys.
We're
Who would have
learning
thought
lessons
this
today,
life of
kids.
crime would lead to your untimely death?
All right. Weasley dude, Jenya, in an act of desperation, seeing one of his subordinates just lose his shit, and then the other one is just
Sort of
like,
no.
yeah, I ain't doing this, bro.
Don't pay me enough for this shit.
Immediately tries to stab you with the 2 successes.
How many do you have?
It's 2.
You burn one, I'll burn one.
Okay.
So you slide back a bit, and I just sort of smack his hand.
That's right. So you do a consolidated attempt to get his blade out, and the sword sort of thrust between the 2 of you, leaving you in a prime position to now.
It's a deflect.
Yes,
Yeah.
to now basically take the attack to him. That was all his successes. So if you spend your other success.
Cool. So my last success is just to drive that hunting knife into his knee,
What?
Nice.
Perfect.
because that's where I am.
And I'm going to use my last one to arm lock his sword arm and be like, "We're here to free people.
Perfect.
We are succeeding."
But not you. You stay.
She said you stay.
I feel like we should just replace the guys we're taking out of prison with these people.
Like there's
Right.
there's a lot of chains and locks out there. I'm like,
He gets stabbed in the knee and immediately like drops down. His sword arm just gets locked out, and he starts yelling in pain. The two of you and Marilena, you actually see as he drops to a knee, he has a kind of big, heavy key tied around his neck that now pokes out of his shirt.
Oh, look, key.
He's screaming pretty loud right now from having been just knifed to the knee. So he's unable to give much information, but you see the key there, plain as day.
So are we gonna stay in initiative at this point?
No, you're broken out of initiative.
I do the classic tug to snap that key off,
That's
and
right.
I chuck it out the door to whoever's closest.
Marilena, you're in the door.
Yeah,
So you get
I grab it.
You have the key to free the other.
Zhenya looks down to the bitch she's petting and goes, I don't know what you're saying, but you need to stop saying it because I'm getting angry.
Well, she can't at this point. She's going off.
I don't know this.
I know. She doesn't stop. She doesn't even pause while you're talking to her.
And just boom.
I look over at Big Boy and I'm like, I don't know if you want to hang around for when our cavalry arrives.
No.
No, you're right.
And then he grabs a sword and he puts it up, and then he kind of pauses next to the dude who's still like, oh, my knee! Like he's like on the ground, and he sorts of, and he just walks it out. And then
He walks past me, I say, I hope you have considered changing your life choices. If I see you again here, you will know what a curse
actually
feels like.
He ducks his head a little bit, and he just like recognizing suddenly, and he blanches a bit, and he ducks his head and passes the door, and he stops and turns and looks at Rethel, and it's like, if you guys are hiring, look out for Carmelo. And then he just
It's not named Jose, he must be okay.
turns around and in a pretty hurried step.
No, when we're done, he's gonna be Jose.
Yeah.
He just like with a hurried
We
step
just make their
just gets
real
the fuck
first
out of
names
there.
their last names, so that's Jose Carmelo.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
So we can differentiate the Jose's.
My grandpa and all of his brothers were named Jose. They just all went by their middle names.
Right.
Except for my grandpa, who was in fact Jose.
Jose.
Well, he was Jose Manuel, but he's the only one that actually went by Jose. Everybody else was Guillermo. and
Two of my
Alberto.
uncles are Jose.
Yeah.
He
They went by
won
their
he
middle
won
names.
that battle.
Yeah.
They had a gladiatorial fight as to
I
who
think
would be
maybe
the
he
real
was the
Jose.
youngest. I don't know.
Got it.
I only know two of them.
All right.
They're the ones that are directly.
Marilena, I assume you go to
Yeah,
free the rest of the people.
I do.
Jimenez sees the guy. Was like, "Are we letting him go?
I go,
Is that a thing?"
remember his face for the interview later.
Okay.
He walks by with both hands
Yeah,
up.
Well,
in the air.
as he walks by, there's like the group of like bedraggled, chained people.
Yep.
Like,
Oh yeah.
Brutalizing all
They're
of this.
brutalizing this dude like
Yeah.
hardcore. And the moment you get off the chain of the other group, they join in. Like they basically rush, and that poor dude
He's probably
just
already
gets
dead.
it. Oh,
Oh yeah.
very
They're still
likely.
beating it.
You see him sort of rolling around with the blows like that, but at this point, they don't seem to care.
He's a stain. At that point.
They're sharing a moment at this point. Most of them seem to be Southerners, either Crescents or Ifri, although you do see a few folks that seem to be from the Commonwealth in there.
By the way, can I roll something to figure out a place that they could go?
I mean, I would
Yeah, I
know.
was wondering that too. Yeah.
Mhm.
Because
If
like, I don't
anybody
think
knows, it'd be me. I'm from
Especially
here.
Right, you are
yeah.
from
Better.
Mhm.
What would that be?
plus.
That. Or sailing. If you're like, you know, a good ship that
If
can
you're
fight
trying to
hard
ship
on.
them out, you can run sailing. Otherwise, theft would not be another bad one. You can
Yeah,
also
like
run
underwear.
scholarship if you're looking for more legit places.
Ooh.
And after you roll, let me know what you roll.
I rolled wits and scholarship, and I got 2.
Okay.
And the first place that comes down, you're like, eh.
All those points.
If nothing
And all
else,
guy and go to a ship. Take back to your home.
maybe we could go ask those people in that cavern or whatever.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I doubt they're trustworthy.
Oh no, the people who lead the revolution,
Did you run?
the insurgents or the underground.
Did you roll 2, Marilena?
Oh, no. But no, I was getting.
Well, I don't know if you wanted to roll.
I do if I want to. So it, wits and scholarship?
Mm-hmm.
How do we add that?
We haven't gotten there yet.
Yes.
Mhm.
By the time we play next, I will have that figured out.
Okay.
Traditionally, it's by your milestones of your
Yeah.
story.
Mm.
Of your story
Okay,
now.
well, I also
I'm
have.
fixing everybody else's story.
I've got 2.
So.
You have 2? You have
Mine.
2 as well, Jimena?
Yes.
So, the first thing that actually comes to your mind when you're thinking of this is a group. They're technically a secret society, but they're not operating that secretly. It's the Moishi Teskara, which basically translates to grandmother's shawl. They're basically the closest thing Thea has to a humanitarian organization. It started in the Commonwealth, and the idea is that they're basically aiding pretty much anybody who's in need. Like they feed the hungry, they take care of wounded soldiers, and definitely victims of human trafficking fall into their purview. And with 2 raises and scholarship, both of you know that they do have a chapter here in San Felipe, in the back of the nondescript medicine shop, where you can probably,
And suddenly you're very busy.
yeah, they can probably help those folks or direct them to a place where they will take aid. Regardless, they won't leave them abandoned.
So we can at least tell them where that is?
Yep.
Or-
You probably know a point of contact as well.
Alright.
There's a lady called Julia who works at that shop. If you ask for her at the counter, she's not actually an employee. The name is basically just a code word so that they know that somebody that needs aid. If they send a representative, they'll be able to get assistance.
Okay. I mean, is there somebody in mind that the now ex-slaves that seems to be more of a leader?
They seem to be gathering around this sort of more wizened lady. She's about mid-50s. She seems to be who they tend to rally around.
Okay. So, I would convey most of that to her. And,
You get a fair amount of just thank yous. Some of them are just bawling. You get a lot of touching.
I'm actually
where
okay with that. No,
they're basically just like they were basically right about to be shipped out, probably to the New World, right? So
I'd say what happened to you should never happen to anybody. I hope that you can find somewhere to feel safe and warm.
You get a bundle of things. You see that as they passing the key around and they're getting rid of the individual pieces of the shackles, and they're basically just about to get out of this dingy warehouse.
What are the other things in this warehouse, or was it just them?
We can have a look.
I mean, what other sort of terrible contraband is getting into them?
Oh, I'm.
Oh,
I imagine it's a whole bunch of evidence, which.
also, we need to get that shit on the table. Hopefully there's something on there to help us down.
Oh yeah. So let's see here. Jenya. Take that right? Yeah. Jenya. Guard.
Gives you a. Okay.
I pulled a knife out of his knee and I hand it back.
Wipes it on her pants.
Yep.
Comes back
I just
away.
kind of keep that arm locked, and I drag him out of the office.
Yeah, he's not having a good time.
And I'm like,
You can do it.
yeah, but I was, yeah.
That was very
I go, hey, maybe start using code names.
I mean, you could call me by my real first name, which is Maria.
Yeah.
No one will know.
Everyone's
Come
Maria.
on, everyone's Maria.
Well, maybe later on the way back we'll talk about using code names. But I'm like,
Right.
would you please gather
I'm
all of the
definitely-
papers on the table up there? Ignore the screaming woman.
Yay.
She's out at this point. She knocked her out.
Oh,
Give
okay.
her one of.
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
She told her.
Oh,
Yeah, shut
I'm
your
sorry, I
mouth. I'm
missed
gonna
that.
shut it
She's
for
out
you.
cold.
She did. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that changes it slightly.
She
Then,
stopped yelling for a second.
then I go, yeah. Then I'm like, hey, could you please help gather these up? I pull the knife, hand it back, and while he's going, I grab him by the scruff, and I'm like, see, what do I want to know? Let's see here.
Who do you work for?
Yeah, no, I know who it works for. And I go, we are freeing your merchandise, who are now people.
There were always people.
And I go, now, if you give me information, you may leave with your life.
What kind of information you want?
Well, I imagine you have your hands in lots of pies.
Sure.
Okay. Now then, we're going to take all the information on that table. Is there any loose ends that you might want to clarify?
Or my friend will happily show you what the other me will feel like.
Yeah.
Right.
I could set you on fire.
Yes.
That's the important stuff.
She will.
You have our
Seen it.
warehouse manifest on there. Feel free to help yourself to whatever is in the warehouse. I don't care.
Okay. Why don't you care?
Because I have one knee busted and another one about to get busted too, and my bosses are real far away right now.
Oh, good. Where?
Probably in Vodache.
Yes, she's correct.
Okay then. Do you have other agents in the city besides the ones we've just talked to?
Not in myself.
That's a
I don't know
delicate way
about
of
the
saying
other
it.
ones.
Oh, great. And
The
who do you
main-
report to?
The main one here is Mondavi.
That bastard.
Now. Giving information back. We try not to do that.
You keep
Who's
using
giving
that name.
information? I just don't like that name.
Okay. And I pat him and I go, this is everyone in your cell?
Well, pretty much Carmelo just walked out, I think.
Okay, so this was everyone in the cell.
Yes.
All right then. Punch and knock him out.
He goes limp just immediately.
Did the slaves even leave anyone outside? They all got stomped on.
Yeah, I think they all got people. Or did the three who helped? The three who helped didn't
Nah.
Oh,
make it
they're
out
still
either?
there. They're still cowering.
Okay, cool.
They didn't get stomped out because Jimena stopped them when they started kicking them.
I go.
I was like, they're helping you.
Yeah.
Go kick that guy.
All right.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
And I'm
no,
like-
that guy is mangled.
There's
At
just
this
a
point.
bunch of gore.
Jenya, will you please bring her along?
Over the shoulder.
I walk out to one of the lads, and whichever one looks the least shaken.
Probably not the guy
go,
with no pants.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I picked the guy with no pants. I go, Jose,
That's what?
you're going to go find a gentleman named Jose. He lives here. I give him the address of our other guy.
In Castile? We're supposed to knock on every door?
No, you go to this place. Like I give him the address. I go, you go here.
Okay.
You will speak to Jose,
Alright.
and you will tell him that Juan says to tell his friend we need them at this warehouse.
I think I got it. Okay.
Okay.
He
And I
leaves.
look at another. I look at another one. I go, Jose. Make sure Jose does okay.
Will do.
All right.
They both go.
Jose now.
They both go. The first Jose you talk to doesn't bother putting on his pants.
Yeah.
Why is this a theme? It really
both
doesn't
leave.
need to be.
And then I look
He
at
wasn't
number.
expressly given permission.
And look at number. Yeah. And then look at number 3, and I go, Jose, because it's in threes.
He's just.
Wait, is there a number 3? Oh, the one with the guns.
Well, this is now threes. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
three. Yeah.
He didn't die. He just
Yeah.
got emasculated by our archer.
Yeah.
That's right. No, that guy is behind. There's 3 guys. The guy with the guns is still cowering behind crates because nobody picked him up back there. That's his new home.
Well, now he's Jose.
He basically
So
just
get that
crawled
up
up
there.
there and was like, I'm gonna curl up back here and live my life here.
Get up there. Your
If you
crate
have
smells
any
like
friends,
fish.
tell them to disarm, come up, and present themselves to the authorities when they show up, or we will find you.
Okay.
I've done it before.
He goes and runs into the back room, then turns back around and then sees the trail of blood and follows it behind the crates. And there's, I don't know, what sounds like an emotional exchange behind those crates of stuff. You
So,
can't
yeah,
really
so-
understand it because it's in Vodace, but
I can understand it.
I can understand it too.
there you go.
So I kind of do a 1-2, and I look back out the door of the door to the alleyway. There's a bar across the street.
Mm-hmm.
I go.
Not too far from
I
there.
go. Anyone for a drink?
I'm going to see what else is in here first.
Oh, it's on the list.
Oh,
Yeah, there's
I look at the list. Is there anything there that's just like of equal or near equal disgustingness?
well, nothing quite as disgusting as like human cargo. There's some illegal substances, opiates, on there. There's weapons. There's some cargo that is listed as archaeological finds. That's kind of set aside.
I feel like if I see drags, I totally grab them and smash everything.
That's
See what?
evidence. We may
It's
want
still
to go
there.
easy. I know.
Just on the ground and broken.
Okay, yeah, no, that's fine.
What do you grab?
Just
The
everything.
opiates and the drugs and just smashed everything.
Sure.
But I leave it there for it's just smashed. Oh, it fell in the middle.
So I wander across the street put down some coins, bring back some mugs, and just sort of get comfy against the door jamb, and I pass them around because we're waiting for the cavalry.
That's
Gene is
right.
always happy.
Yep.
And as you sit down, drinking happily, eventually you see a few people in nondescript cloaks led by Luna Maria. She takes out a tricorn hat and basically just looks around and says, "What happened in here?"
Some concerned citizens reported some unusual activity. And this young lady, I point at the unconscious body, was so racked with guilt, she's going to confess to her she's going to confess to perjury and the wrongful incarceration of one Gustavo.
Sounds like a great find. We'll bring the boys in here and look what else we can dig up.
And I'm sure that the City Watch, with several witnesses, will want to see that an individual of Wadachi origin was smuggling various illicit items.
You actually see a hand raised from behind the crates.
They actually named him that way. As
Oh, yeah.
their
Oh
father.
yeah. Although no hint of our mutual friend that we're keeping an ear out for.
The contrary would have surprised me, but that's fine. We can leave that out of the official report, and we'll work at taking that bastard down.
Mm-hmm.
She actually pauses, and as, straight and emotionless as she looks, she sort of gives you an appraising look and says, "Good work." And then directs a few more of the
Suddenly
troops
a
around.
little affronted.
He-
For the first time ever, like,
Do I catch any of that? Because you're not subtle ever, so.
no, well, I mean, I'm drinking and I've got an unconscious woman over my shoulder and you're getting all the praise and I'm like,
Oh no, she did it to all of you.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Not just them. Not just them.
I'm like,
I was about to do that, and I'm like, she means all of us. As
Yes.
if-
No.
Yeah.
She's definitely directing it
I
at
would
all
put
of
it
you.
out there that it's great work. I can't make that sound.
Everybody immediately starts making sounds.
That's right.
Sorry. Birds, or was it actually funny? Oh, okay, sorry.
And we will wrap it up here for tonight so that we can do a follow up when Evine is back with us.
Yeah.
Good job, folks.
Cool, we all
some
level.
little bitch ass.
Yes, no, definitely.
You tanked a three boss room for a good couple rounds.
Yeah.
Nice.
I am.
You are the brute squad.
Yes.
She's our pheasant.
Yeah, she is.
100%.
And I'm the indigo.
Yeah, apparently. I guess I'm a physico? or a Fizzicini?
A Fassini?
Well, she'd be more the Fassini.
I know, but like,
Well, she's Fassini, he's Fizzini.
Fizzicini.
That's right.
Fassini.
There we go, yeah, I dig it.
America. And she's Buttercup, I guess.
Yeah, secretly badass. But
She's Miracle Max.
That's true. She's Valerie.
nice.
To blame.
She means to block. Wasn't it called? That's what you said. I'm not even sure if I want to be that anymore.
So 180%.
Nobody's listening.
The only reason why I would ever truly be like, I want to get married. I want one day
Just
to
so you can
yell,
scream that.
I'm not a witch, I'm broke. Alright. In true earnest.
Mhm.
I want you to what? I don't want to be that anymore.
Love lies expiring.
So good. Such good lines, and they kind of get dropped so easy. It's great.
Good night, Internet.
Good night, Internet.